Listen up. As you get older, the best way to continue to look young, exuberant, and vibrant is to continue to take care of your skin. That's why I'm excited to have T-Chanley as a sponsor of today's video. You heard me talk about them before, and you're going to continue to hear me talk about them because I believe in their products and the positive impact that they have on every man's life. T-Chanley makes taking care of your skin so easy. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing that you don't. Every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. Lapeef family, I must admit, skincare wasn't always something I always focused on, but since I started using this system, I've seen improvements in the way my skin looks and feels. And you don't have to take my word for it. They have over 5,000 five-star reviews on their website from satisfied customers from around the world. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer, and a PM moisturizer. In addition to amazing skin, members of T-Chanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off retail price, the ability to customize your box, pause or cancel at any time, and free US shipping. And because T-Chanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click that first link in the description and you'll get 30% off the first box plus the free gift. Seriously, that's an amazing deal. Even though it's too early, as I often say, it's never too late. Click that link and get started today.
It's go time. I don't know if y'all heard it, but I said it's go time.
I can hear.
What's going on, family? Welcome to Lapeef-ing Sundays. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew. We got Jay a story to tell. We got Miss Chanel, Luis, Man Not the Enemy, Hink in the Basement, Angie Soul, Sugar Pearl Salon, and me myself. I'm Lapeef JR. Welcome to Lapeef-ing Sundays on the greatest network, the Lapeef Network. What's going on, family? How y'all doing?
We're doing good. JR, how are you?
Happy Sunday, y'all. Happy Sunday.
Where's Today? Oh, that's going over there.
What's that noise?
Riddles or something.
Oh, it sounds like somebody coming in the house.
Louboutin headphones? This ain't the spikes.
That's kind of take it back by the setup.
Yeah, I got the Jada pick. Get hoops. And,
I know.
okay, well, nevertheless, man, it's good to see you guys. Welcome to Lapeef-ing Sundays. It is Sunday, a little later than usual, but going to church, man. So I'm going to church, so I have to make room for church, and then we go ahead and put the show on the back end. So yeah, with that being said, this might be the new time. I'll see about doing it early, see if y'all folks want to get up a little early before church, but we'll see how they go. Anyhow, shout out to the sponsor, T-Chanley Uncomplicated Skincare for Men, 30% off along with a free gift. That link is in the description. So make sure you guys feel a Tej, as I always say. Let me see who we got in the chat. We got a few people in the chat already. Shout out to my Green Gang. If you want to become part of the Green Gang, that link is pinned to the top of the chat. And some of our Green Gang members are Jordan Wells in the chat, Joe Lee, Embrace the Grace, Hink in the Basement is in the chat and also on the show as well. Again, if you want to be, Sugar Curls is in the chat. All y'all in the chat, man. What y'all been doing? Yeah, I guess y'all been communicating with the family.
Showing love.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Amen. Amen. Dale Matthew, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Again, click that link and go green. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, go ahead and share the stream. We got some good topics ahead. It's Sunday, so it's a little bit light. So if you're looking for that Thursday energy, as Hink always say, you might not find it there. But I don't know. sometimes people surprise me. Sometimes people got a little edge from Saturday, so we'll see how that go. It's Angie Soul's first time, so y'all make sure y'all be easy on her. I'm not sure if you've seen the Sunday show, but it's pretty light. I know.
Yeah,
No worries.
I don't know what to expect, but I'm ready.
Is JR skipping on y'all end? Like pausing from time to time?
Yeah,
Emma?
I thought it was just me, but
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in the Matrix. Let me see if I can do something about that. I want y'all hold a little conversation. Let me see if I can switch it up. See what's going on. Well, y'all can talk about anything. I just don't want it to look odd in silence right now.
What happened to Jamie Foxx, yo?
Oh,
yeah,
Jamie
what's
Foxx.
going on with him? What
y'all think happened?
Conspiracy going on now?
So I didn't hear anything. What happened? Oh, what's the word?
I mean, there's no update. I'm just like, what's going on? Like, this is a really odd situation. Like,
Oh yeah, when he was in the hospital. Yeah.
Some conspiracy theorists are saying like he passed away already, and they're trying to cover it up. I don't know what the benefit.
For real? When was this?
I don't know.
I mean, they've been saying that. They've been saying that. I don't think that happened.
That he passed on? I never heard that.
Nobody has seen him on camera, since. So that's why it's giving, a little bit suspicious that up to this point he hasn't made like a lot of announcements.
Who are y'all talking about?
Jamie Foxx.
But I thought the daughter or the niece came on and was saying that everything social media was saying was false.
But see, this what I'm gonna tell you. This odd. This was odd to me. I'm getting feedback. Somebody got.
You got a mute in between.
Oh, okay. What I thought was odd to me was the daughter said he's making a full recovery. He was playing like pickleball or something like that, right? But then I saw a tweet from Nia Long where she was like, my heart is heavy, almost like you got bad news, like you heard like somebody told you something recently that made you post that. So, she's an insider. So I feel like she received some information that made her post that. I see she took it down, but for her to post that after the daughter is saying good things, I'm just like, yo, it's something going on, man.
Yeah, something
they're trying to hide.
What's strange to me is now I'm a big Jamie Foxx fan, so don't get me wrong, but what is exactly like special that we have to hide him passing away or something so bad happening to him? Is there something that I'm missing?
It's the timing. So he's shooting a new film, and one of the prerequisite was for him to be vaccinated, and there was a huge push for him to get vaccinated in order to continue the film production, and he wasn't vaccinated prior to that moment, and sort of like there was like this kind of push, like like we need you to be vaxxed, blah 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 blah, and sort of he went ahead and got it done, and sort of some time had lapsed, and then he started to not feel like himself, and he was complaining to some loved ones and some close friends, and then next thing you know, he's in the hospital, and then the ongoing development was that he was in critical condition, and then communication stopped. We stopped seeing videos of him. We didn't see him talk, and then like some time lapse, and then it's like his daughter saying, "Hey, he's making a full recovery." In a short period of time, but yet we haven't seen an actual video of him or him coming on live saying, "Hey, thank you for the thoughts and prayers. Thank you for, looking out for me and my family. I'm making a slow recovery. I'm happy to get back to business as usual." No one has seen that or, witnessed that yet. And sort of but they're selling us the idea that we need to take the word and face value of a loved one that he has made a full recovery, but yet he's not able to go on camera. But he's good enough to be on camera from when we was in the hospital, right? So it's just the math ain't mathing.
I totally see that as some type of cover up, if that's what it is.
Yeah,
it could be. I'm doing now. I'm good. I'm skipping around.
No, you good now.
It's much better.
I appreciate your team. Sometimes you can't really see it on StreamYard. Man, that's not the thing. Make sure you mute in between. You got a loud background. Yeah. You heard me? Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was that loud. Yeah, I'm going on mute.
Yeah. Kind of like you got a new camera or something. Are you using your phone or is that a new camera?
Well, maybe I didn't tell you, but somebody stole my other 2 phones, so I had to get a whole new phone. So yeah, this is a new phone.
Oh, that phone works much better because you.
I know, right? I'm not flinching. I'm not twitching. None of that. God is good. God is good.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of phone you had. You had a Nextel or something? Or?
Why you? Oh, why you? Are you trying to clown me? Honestly, I don't know what phone it is. It's not an iPhone though. It's supposed to be like this high quality Android.
Oh, no,
I couldn't tell you though. I forgot.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the one you had before, because the other one.
Oh, but before I had literally just got that one.
I know.
The other one was I don't know either, but it wasn't a cheap phone either. But I don't know. Shouts out to my new phone. Thank you for noticing.
Oh yeah, I know what was going on. I was like, I ain't never seen you and not blurry. So let's go get the show started. My apologies, man. I'm glad the internet is better on my end. I had to make sure I was connected to the hardwire instead of that Wi-Fi. Here we go. Our first topic of this early afternoon for some folks and late afternoon for others is women do not hate nice. Women do not hate nice. So this video I'm about to ready to play is in reference to this whole nice guy thing that we always discuss. And she's going to say that women do not hate nice, that they actually like nice guys, but with certain conditions. So I'm going to go ahead and play this and we'll go ahead and break it down. Y'all ready? Okay.
Not
Yes, sir.
hate nice men. What we do dislike is men who lack masculinity. Now, a lot of nice guys tend to be men who also lack other masculine traits that women find attractive. And what they do is they blame their nice nature as to why they have no success with women. When you take a man who still has masculine traits and is nice, he ends up having hyper success with women. But when you take a man who's nice by default, because he can't exercise his masculinity, he can't say no, he can't set boundaries, he can't exert his dominance, of course women are not going to find that attractive. The difference between being nice and being a good guy is the nice guy desexualizes himself. And how he desexualizes himself is by...
Man, I want to know what she was going to say.
Yeah, me too.
Snip, snip.
Yeah. I started to get some popcorn. Let me ask you guys this. Jay, do you consider yourself a nice guy?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Louise?
I'm nice, but I'm firm.
Okay. Ink?
No.
So you're a mean guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He trying to get his stock up, man. That's why he said that.
Now, are you not saying that you're a nice guy because of how this YouTube space perceive nice guys? You know, if you were to meet your future mother-in-law and father-in-law, like they say, hey, God, tell us about yourself. You say, I'm not nice.
Yeah. First things first, shout out to Men Are Not the Enemy and new Android, because we know iPhones ain't shit. But you know how people think about me over there. They think I'm some burly, mean, nasty, ornery guy. So might as well give them what they want, right? So no, I'm not nice.
Okay. I'm nice. I got a little edge to me. You know, some people they look at me, they say I don't look approachable. I always look mean. Do you ever smile? So I mean, I'm nice. I got a good heart. I get a good heart from my mother. She has a real big heart. So I would say I'm a nice guy. But let's go ahead and dive into this topic. She says women do not hate nice. What do you guys thoughts about it? I'm gonna start off with a couple ladies, and then we'll get the men involved. So I'm gonna start off with you, Chanel. I know we got a smaller panel. I know we don't have a 5-on-5, so it's like even the 4-on-4, right? Oh, we just lost one. So let's get in this. Yeah, go ahead, Chanel.
I do agree. I mean, there's nothing wrong with you being nice, but as the lady was stating, some guys think being nice is being a pushover or to let someone walk all over them or to completely take away any moral standing from yourself. That's not what being nice is about. Also, there are some nice guys who put on an act just to get, women in the bedroom. So what are we actually talking about? Are you a good person? Now, if you're a good person, you're going to stand up for what's right, no matter what other people are doing. So sometimes that means you're setting yourself apart from the group. Sometimes that means you need to put your foot down and say, hey, that's wrong. I'm not doing that. So sometimes being nice could be fake, but are you a good person? I think that's the most important thing. And I think good women like good men.
Okay. Louise, let me go ahead and go to you next before we go to one of the other ladies. Women do not hate nice. What do you think about what she said and what Chanel said as well?
I agree. I think what has happened is that we have kind of conflated or changed the definition of what nice is. Somebody who is, respectful, courteous. Somebody who seems like they grew up in a wholesome house, right, with two parents where they showed them certain morals and certain characteristics, right. But unfortunately, the world outside views as nice as being weak or pushover or no backbone. Somebody that could walk all over you, right? You know what I'm saying? You're easily swayed, or somebody could challenge your position and make you come off your square. And I think that is what she was really talking about when it comes to men being nice. Look, there's nothing wrong with being somebody who's respectful, courteous and things like that. I just think that people need to know how to set non-negotiable boundaries as it pertains to certain relationships, business relationships, friendships, relationships, even in your family. You know what I'm saying? There's certain boundaries and certain things that you will not allow and you can't allow because they're your non-negotiable, right? And sort of if you get people that will allow themselves to take that inch, they're going to take a mile over time because they're going to try to take advantage of you. It's just inherent, human nature, right? So one of the things that I usually start off a conversation with when I have these types of conversation off Lapeef or offline in group settings like these, and I usually am around a lot of women. First off, I was like, first and foremost, what I'm about to say is not going to be politically correct. I'm not interested in dating any of you, and I'm not interested in sleeping with any of you. So I'm not going to sway my position to gain favor. To gain favor in you, because what happens is that when we have these conversations, there usually is an outlier that will try to posture himself to seem much more likable or much more favorite among other men in the space, because they're like, oh, I would never do that, or I have never done that, or I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? A man who's typically that agreeable is typically one that would, behind the scenes do the complete opposite of what he says. So I usually tell people to kind of be aware of those situations, but up front, I let people really know what it is, because if you allow people to kind of sway you off your position, most people are going to tend to lose respect for you. How you?
All right. Sugar Curls, I'm going to go to you next. Women do not hate nice.
Yeah, I think her use of the word nice was a little bit different. I was thinking more so, I think women may not like a soft man or a man who is doesn't set boundaries. A man can be nice and polite and respectful, but still set boundaries. He can still be very masculine, but know when to say no, know when to put his foot down. So I would, rephrase and say, do women hate soft men? Where if you're a feminine woman, you might not like a man that's too soft because it's not going to balance you. There are some men who are softer and they work well with women who are not as soft, but I just think the verbiage was a little bit different. Being nice is just being polite, respectful. I think a good man is somebody who has virtue, has integrity. And so a good man typically is a man who can be nice. you'll meet him. He's a stand-up guy. He comes in the room, you know, he's assured of who he is. He's confident. But the one thing you will say is he's a nice guy, you know. So that's kind of how I see it.
I do have a question, you sugar curls, and I would like Chanel to answer too, since you guys spoke already. You mentioned the word soft. Can you, for the men that's watching, even some of the men on the panel, can you give me an example of how you would view a man as soft? Like, what have you seen in your past experiences from personal relationships, or maybe you've heard of, talked to some of your girlfriends and y'all spoke about it, like, he's just so soft. What does that look like? Paint the picture for the audience.
Okay, in my eyes, when I see a man that's soft, there could be a situation where he's conversing with a woman and there's a decision that needs to be made. And the woman is, well, I'm going to do this and this is how I want to do it. I think a man who's soft would be like, oh, okay. And maybe just kind of step away. But a man who is in his masculinity, he's confident, he's going to say, thank you for your opinion. Thank you for your thoughts. This is how we're going to proceed. He doesn't have to yell. He doesn't have to be mean. And, you know, he's thank you, but this is how we're going to proceed. That's the difference I see.
I could agree with that, and I could concur that sounds great in theory, but in practicality, that's not really what is happening out here. There's some couples are having conversations about certain hot topics or certain tough decisions that need to be made, and one partner, who's typically sometimes the woman, feels very strongly about it, and sort of to not rock the boat or create a sort of an aftershock impact in their relationship, he'll yield. He'll be like, you know what, you got it, whatever. All right, cool. I'll fall back. Yeah, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that, you know, men are not trying. It's just that some dudes are really, you know, trying. But I just think that there are certain people who have such a strong personality and strong presence and energy about them that they can't contend with. You know what I'm saying? Some people are just too contentious.
I think I think being soft, as from a woman's perspective, looking at a man, is if you are going as a man, if you're going against what you believe in just to make peace with your woman or with the people around you. If there's something that you stand or you hold dear to you and you're letting that go because of somebody else, I think that makes you soft, personally.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and keep it moving. Women do not hate nice. Let me go ahead and go to Hank. What are your thoughts about it? Oh,
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Don't do that, y'all. Don't do that.
we didn't do anything. We just was sitting back.
Right. That's what you do, yo. Market territory. I see y'all up there, but this me here, family. So fall back.
Mm-hmm. I know what he did that for. I don't blame him. Like a dog, got him off the territory. Yes. Hey, but do women hate nice men? I don't know about the word hate. I mean, that's awfully strong word, right? Excuse me, I'm talking about my voice. Still coming over with the sinuses draining and stuff, so please forgive me. I don't think they hate him. I don't think they really turned on by him. Not about to the mid-30s. About 35, it's when they start to realize, yeah, I need to do something different. I need to go in a different directions. These bad boys that I was attracted to, you know, when I was in high school, all the way through my college years and into my early 30s, late 20s. Yeah, that's got to go. Especially when, you notice their opportunities are changing as far as the workplace, and they starting to make more money and getting more things. They don't want to put that in jeopardy. And so getting these knucklehead dudes, they realize my freedom could be in jeopardy. My livelihood could be in jeopardy. My mental well-being could be in jeopardy if I continue to deal with these sketchy dudes, these questionable dudes, or these at-risk dudes. You know, so they tend to try to go in a different direction, I believe, in the late 30s. So Yeah, I think that's when they start to settle for the nice guys and realize if I want to get in certain circles, yeah, I need to. I need not be messing with the treacherous of the world. You know what I'm saying? I know it's an old school reference to a lot of y'all young folk, but it is what it is.
Okay.
Don't laugh at me, Jay. I'm old, brother. You know I am.
Yo, I'm old too if I'm laughing, fam.
I think I did have a question for the men too. So Hank, we talk about you know how nice guys are perceived.
Mm-hmm.
With hearing that message online and within the past, I say couple years, because I think all these conversations started coming alive maybe within the past couple years. But with hearing that, has that altered in the way that you date? Like, are you, if you have a big heart, are you trying not to show so much of that because of the perception surrounding a nice guy?
No, because I've been told I'd say no way too much, and I need I was somebody. My ex used to get on me about my tone and delivery. You know what I'm saying? I need to be a lot more nice in how I say things. So I guess I've been like this, and I'm not gonna let YouTube change me or nothing like that. But at the same time, you know, I tell you this, with having a daughter and my granddaughter now, you know, you kind of soften up just a little bit, I guess. And now I don't know about to the point of just moving off of your square off of what you stand at. Yeah, that makes no sense to me about that. I mean, for your standards, hold to that. But yeah, I mean, and I don't know. Some people feel like as you get up in age, you kind of soften up too. You know, but some people even think, you know, you get up in age, you get more nasty and grumpy and short tempered. I don't know. Depends on how I guess the situation.
Yeah, I did hear about some men crying watching The Little Mermaid. Louise.
Damn.
So same question. This whole thing surrounding like the nice guy. Have you changed the way you date? Have you changed the way you move when it comes to being nice to women?
I mean, it's not so much about not being nice. I think delivery is key. You know, I think that you could say something and get your point across without being rude, crass, or disrespectful. I think that a lot of people might not know how to, converse, in an articulate way to get their point across without seeming very crass or rude about it, right? Nobody wants, a prime steak rib served to them on a dirty piece of plate, and sort of that's really what it comes down to when we talk about, being blunt and being crass. But at another point, I will say this, ladies, you must adhere to this. I sometimes don't focus on what women say they want, think that what they want, but what they respond to. You know what I'm saying? Like you could say all the nice things, you know what I'm saying? They could perceive you to be one way, but it's really what they react to. Because I mean, I'll be honest with you. You ever walk the streets of New York sometimes, and I've seen cats, holler at a girl and be like, "Hey man, come here, shorty. I like that fat ass." Boom. Be like, who you talking to? And then she comes over. Next thing you know, a whole conversation converse. Boom, he has her number. Another dude who might come through with a suit and stuff like that, he might not take that approach, and it might not land a perception. So again, and he could be very um cordial about it, you know what I'm saying? But we understand like there is always a sexual tension or a sexual energy that has to be kind of embedded in the messaging that we're trying to deliver. And sort of that's why I said that, I don't try to concern myself around what, women think or what they say they think they want. It's more about what they respond to.
Those cat calls actually work, Luis? I did
Yo,
not
you'd be
know that.
surprised. I've seen videos. I've legit. I've seen a ton of videos. Where like it's like a hidden camera situation, and they work. I mean, I'm not gonna say all the time, but you'd be surprised. And sometimes some of the women, some of the women are like either business women, like good looking women. You know what I'm saying? Not like some like hobo down the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you'd be surprised. You'd be like, "Oh, damn! I didn't realize she would respond to that." And I was like, "All right." And then a lot of dudes, they sit back and they see that, and then they take note, and it's like, "Damn, I'm over here, fishing in a huge pond, and these dudes are shooting pellets inside of a bathtub." You know what I'm saying? Without even trying, right?
Yeah.
And they're getting all that kind of attention and energy, and sort of, I think what a lot of dudes have picked up is like they need to change their approach. But again, there are very few dudes who have that kind of energy, that have that kind of personality, that swag, that sort of that way, the gift of the gab. You know what I'm saying? They have that jawline where they could, talk to a woman and be like, "Hey, let me talk to you for a second." You know what I'm saying? Pull over aside. And I think it's over the body language, the posturing, the what, the timing of words, right? Paying attention to her mannerisms. I think that a lot of that's a little bit of a lost art, considering we spend too much time behind a screen and not so much in person, where you tend to pick up these tendencies of human interaction. And sort of that's why I think that it's a fail safe for people to safely date behind the screen, as opposed to being in like-minded communal space with the opposite sex.
Yeah. I can understand what Louis saying. I've heard women describe men from New York. They think about the Timbs and think about the man with that edge. I've never been to New York, and I was in another city, and in Chicago we wear Timbs too. So I was asked, you from New York? They have this look. Jay, are you in New York? Okay, I know
From
Chanel.
New
You
York, not in New York.
okay? So you know what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah, I came to the
most of
South
the
for a
people-
reason.
Yeah. And then it's just about the way they talk too, and how direct they are. I won't say all men, but they like it. Look at you, Chanel. You over there sitting there saying,
No, but sometimes they do.
because it's not about
Sometimes they go
the
too
cat
hard.
call. It's just about how confident they approach it, and then they got the edge as well, and the thoughts that may be going through their head when that man is talking to them. So it might not be just to marry. It may just be like, I have had a long, rough week.
Yeah, you gotta also understand, like, when you hear it from look, this is why I said we have like animalistic tendencies, because me talking to someone directly, them hearing me, them feeling my presence, lanes a lot different than me sending a message saying hi, what I'm saying, hello, blah 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 blah, like, what's going on? I saw your picture, blah blah blah. Those messages tend to not get read. Those actually go to like the archive folder of like the black hole. You know what I'm saying? And I have women who have actually directly said this. A lot of them. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you just gotta cut to the chase, especially if you're gonna do the online thing. Just cut to the chase. Be like, look, what I'm saying? I saw a couple of pictures, I studied your videos and stuff like that. Look, I think we have a lot in common, blah, blah, blah. And just cut to the chase and just shoot your shot directly. You know what I'm saying? Trying to like meander and go the long route, man, you're wasting time, man. Because by the time you're writing and typing this very sophisticated, thought out word, there's another dude that just said, "Yo, what up, shorty, man? Let's go out this weekend. I'm free. What you up to?" Wow.
Straight up, yo. Like,
You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, like the message is being sent as she's in the car heading to meet the other dude. So like timing is everything. Like
Yeah, it is. Let me get to Angie. So what are your thoughts about it? Women do not hate nice.
I mean, I would agree with that. Yeah, I think a man really needs to be secure in himself, and that displays if he is or not. If I sense that he is not confident in himself, his stance, his image, whatever it may be, especially as he's conducting a conversation, then that turns me off. Um, when it comes to niceness, I am agreeing with Sugar Curls. Like, I think it's not so much if this person is nice, it's just how much of the masculine energy are they putting out. And I need that masculine energy in order for me to give you that feminine energy. Because if I don't feel confident in you leading me as my man, then I'm not going to be attracted to you.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Jay. A story to tell. What are your thoughts, sir? Women do not hate nice.
I mean, I think it depends on what stage of their life they're in. You know, if they're in a younger stage, I think nice is viewed as safe, and safe is boring, you know, and that can get old really quick. You know, when you're young, you're trying to live, you want some type of excitement, you know. So safe is boring at times, but when you get older and you tired of the lights getting cut out and you tired of getting backslapped or wrestling with your, you know, all of the spontaneous stuff that happens when you're young, you laugh backslap. I mean, yo, I'm just speaking. Some women have a different language, you know what I mean? So when you're tired of that stuff, a backslap is surprising. You know what I mean? So if a nice guy, no, I'm lying, but
Why is a
but
backslap spontaneous?
it's spontaneous. Like, yo, if what I'm saying is, if when you're younger, you don't want to be able to predict the guy's every move or what he's gonna say or what he's gonna do. You don't want that. When you get older, being able to predict the guy's move is more comforting because you're at an age where you know that he's gonna be walking through this door about 6:30, 7 o'clock. You know that the lights are gonna be on. You know when you cut your TV on, the cable's gonna be worked, the bills are gonna be paid. You know, when you're younger, you don't appreciate things like that. So depending on the mental of the woman, if she's older, if she's younger, depends on what nice is to her. And to most people and most women I know at that age, nice was safe. You know what I'm saying? And I got a lot further along once I was able to balance it because initially I was nice. You know what I'm saying? I held women on the pedestal. My homeboys used to always say, dog, you have to be who you are around us, around them. Stop being this nice, tight ass, you know, buttoned up. What you do around us, do that around them, you'll get a lot further. So, you know, I used to bring my representative. I got rid of the representative and they were right.
What?
You know?
Ladies, don't let your lights get cut off. Call on Tyrone.
Jay, could you gotta stop being stiff hip hop, Jay?
Yeah, man. Like, you know, a nice guy, like for instance, a younger woman, you know, they might want to have a hand around their throat. You know what I'm saying? That's
What?
you know, whereas a nice guy, you might have to take
That's
his
so
hand.
extreme, though.
No,
right?
I mean, you know, when you've already accepted him, when y'all are already intimate, like y'all
Yeah,
are
and
already
so you
on
know
that
what he's
page.
talking about. He ain't talking about just on
That's
GP.
another story.
What I'm
He's talking
saying
about when the
is,
mood is right. That's what he talking about.
right, exactly. Like Hank said, when the mood is right.
Mhm.
You may like a hand around your throat, whereas a nice guy, you might have to take his hand and put it on your throat, and you'll be like, this is
My
whack. I had
life
to take
is
his hand.
so vanilla, apparently, because my God.
No, I
The
mean, but
reaction
then
is
that, but
everything, I have to tell you.
You keep
you
coming on
said
Sundays, you won't be for
Chanel has
long.
been
I promise you that. Keep coming on Sundays.
but Chanel, that's good. You know what I'm saying? You found a person that matches that. You know, I mean, everybody's different. I'm just saying. I'm
Wait, what
from
did
New
Chanel?
York, where women are a lot harsher. You know, they're a lot more aggressive. So
I hate when people try to dunk on New York. I'm from New York, but I'm from Queens, the more chill borough. We're
you
like
from
not
Queens is China, yo.
all New Yorkers are
Oh,
not rough
dang.
and tough.
I'm
Y'all need to
crying.
stop. All New York women are not rough and tough. Some of
I
us
agree.
actually
So
smile and are happy.
I'm from the
Jay,
Bronx,
they
so
say
that's
your
why.
passport coming in out of Queens, I guess, huh?
Whew. Nah, Bronx people are a whole different.
Exactly.
Okay,
That is actually the jungle.
wait, because I live in Florida, but I am from the Bronx, and I'm not your typical Bronx chick. I smile, like you
Uh,
see,
Yeah.
like,
that
I
concludes
smile.
the show.
But I mean, can a man not be both? Because honestly, when I met my husband, I was 25. He was 5 years older than me. He gave me all of the elements that you're talking about in the bedroom, you know, when you're a young woman. But he was also very respectful. He definitely has the gift of gab. He's very secure in himself. And that's carried on throughout the years. What, we've been together about 8 years now and been married for about 2. So like I just feel like it really just depends on the experience and not one size fits all, and it really depends on the woman. And it's not really just on the man. It's really just based on the woman that you're approaching as well. Because going back to the New York thing, I'm from New York, and the way those guys approach those girls they could never step to me because you're getting shut down. I'm not even entertaining you. I'm walking away. But if any woman is entertaining that, it says a lot about herself as well.
But how often do you see that? Be honest, Angie. How often do you see that?
You know, I can only speak from my own experience. That's the thing. Like I can only speak from my own experience. Um, yeah. I mean, I can't say I've seen it very much, but it's just to kind of put out the perspective that it's not impossible. You know what I mean? Like it's not like either the guy is nice and safe and boring, and that's it, or you got to deal with the guy who is going to drag you through the dirt, you know, throughout the relationship. There are easy mediums, but you know, yeah, maybe a little bit harder to find, but they're out there.
Yeah.
You know, when I was like first dating and stuff like that, I used to struggle with men like wanting the mean women or like the bitches, and I would always be like, well, maybe I should be mean like that to get guys to like me, because it seems as though that's what guys go for. So I mean, obviously I don't feel that way now, and I feel being a good woman is way better. But back then it used to be such a struggle seeing guys go for the mean women, and I feel as though men probably, maybe when they're younger, have a similar experience, that they go for the more rough or mean women rather than the sweet, wholesome women.
In the famous words of Kanye, better known as Ye, one good girl is worth 1,000 bitches.
I mean, that's very true. That's very
damn.
Let me go ahead and try to get men are not the enemy in this conversation. What's going on? What are your thoughts about women do not hate nice?
Well, I think nice is everybody's individual perspective. What one person or what some people may be offended by, not necessarily I would be offended by. For example, he said that he doesn't consider himself to be a nice guy. Well, I have tough skin. I was raised by my dad. I grew up with brothers, etc. So I'm not really sensitive to the majority things that a lot of other women or people might be. So I wouldn't really see him as not a nice guy. I just think he's thorough. I think he says what he means and he means what he says. And I love people like that. In fact, I would want more people around me to be thorough versus quote unquote a yes man. But it pertains to the subject. I think that a lot of women translate nice guys to getting everything she wants. If a man is quote unquote nice, or saying it this way, women would probably prefer a nice guy because she thinks she's going to get everything out of him that she wants. And I think that on the contrary side, or on the flip side to that, that has to do with the reason why dating is like it is, because you got a lot of women with their hands out. You got a lot of women that are spoiled, used to getting every single thing they want. And then when they run into somebody like Hink, then they're like, oh, whoa, why are you being so mean? Why are you being so aggressive? And it's like, no, he's not. He's just real. He's just, or let me say it this way. He's a little bit more firm than guys that you've dated before, but it doesn't make him mean. He's just a no BS type of guy. So at the end of the day, yeah, I nobody would want a mean person, but I think that we need to take into account that just because you're nice, it doesn't mean you're going to get everything that you want from a man either. I think it's very important for men to say no. Yeah, these women need to hear no. So yeah, I agree that women do not hate nice guys. They just use them. Some of them.
And real quick, just to piggyback.
You get a nerve with that one. You get a nerve with that one, sister.
And just to piggyback with the question, JR, that you asked Luis and Hank about, like the kind of landscape of the internet in the past 2 years. I don't think anybody that's already had their personality of who they were and have done a self-assessment. Like, you always have to do a self-assessment. And I think that in these relationships, whether it's you're nice or you're a pushover or you're not nice, whatever you are, at the end of the day, you have to choose yourself in a lot more situations, because people will make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. That's the main thing. So whether you're too nice or whether, make sure that you're not putting your own, quality of life in jeopardy to appease somebody else.
Yep, gotta have a relationship with yourself first.
Bingo.
All right. Great topic, man. Great topic. You guys just tuning in. Welcome to Lapeef-ing Sundays. Just make sure we hit the like button. Also, make sure we subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the sponsor, Catcalling, uncomplicated skincare for men. Man, let's take care of our skin. I know y'all out there sweaty and stuff and clogging up them pores. Tej is the way to go. I'm telling you, it works. Use it every day. That being said, we do have a few super chats that came through. Dale Matthew, I don't know what currency it is, but $50, greatest network on the planet. Get the likes up, y'all. Salute to you, Dale, and thank you. We also have a member, Gentleman Status. Welcome to the Green Gang, sir. And he also sent a super chat. Says, shoot for being a gentleman, even a kind man, but not a nice guy. Thank you, sir. Welcome to Green Gang again. Appreciate everybody that has donated so far. Hit that like button, family. Hit that like button. Dedicated to my children. I see you, Green Gang. Jolie, I see you. Anissa Glass. First time seeing you in the chat. Welcome. I see Precious is in the chat as well. Salute to you, Precious. BZ, formerly Baby Zaddy. What's going on, Green Gang? I'd like to periodically shout you guys out and say thank you for your continuous support each month. Go ahead and get into our next topic. How we doing, family? Y'all good? I don't think I need HR. We need HR on Sunday.
Nah, I think we're good.
Well, I don't know, Josh, but what Men Are Not the Enemy said, she says nice guys get used. That we might have to speak on that.
She ain't wrong on that. She ain't far off.
We might have to speak on that. But hey, it's your show, Joe. That's why you're the greatest network in the world. But go ahead, do your thing. Okay.
So if it's transactional, is he still getting used?
Damn. It depends on how you look at it. And if the transaction is fair.
I mean, from what I've seen, y'all, my platform is predominantly men. So I have a different, I'm kind of probably the oddball in here. But yeah, from what I see, the guys, from what I've seen, it's not an even exchange. It is, I gave this girl my world, or I gave this girl the world, and she left me high and dry. Or I get guys saying that, they building houses for women and she leaves them anyway. So, I mean, when we talk about nice, again, I think women translate a nice guy to like, he gives me what I want. And I don't think that's always a good thing. That's what I see.
Yeah, Trigger Mike said it best at one point. He said, gentlemen, stop allowing yourself to be the noble fool. You know what I'm saying? Stop walking through life just doing things willy-nilly with expecting absolutely nothing for it. And sort of, I think that the guys who do that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, at some point it is transactional, but don't be paying nobody's bills. You know what I'm saying? Just because, you know what I'm saying, you want to pay somebody's bills. And we've converted ourselves into what I refer to as we are internet boyfriends. There are people who are receiving Cash App, Zelle, and other forms of payment, crypto, to people that they like on internet just because they follow my IG, pay their rent. Oh, I'm having an issue. Boo, 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 boo. Next thing you know, here comes Captain Saber Chick in sending cash. He's an internet boyfriend. Has never met her. Doesn't have her number. Has never met her. Has never exchanged a full conversation in depth, right? But he is so quick and opted to pay somebody's bills or purchase something for them. Stop allowing yourself to be the noble fool. You're turning yourself into an internet boyfriend.
We cannot classify.
That ain't what Earl Stevens called him, Louis. You know it. He called him Captain Safe Hose. Call it what it is. We ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I know.
And they crippling these women. They crippling women.
We gotta call it what it is, Luke. We can't do that.
You can't call those guys nice, because that's not what nice means. That is a pushover. That is a fool. That is someone who is foolish. So we have to delineate those two different types of behaviors, because those guys who are just watching a woman undress online and giving up money, that's not being nice. That's being a simp.
But I think it's more than just watching them online. I mean, just like Lou Sita said, guys out here just paying their bills. There's no way I will pay a woman's bill who doesn't have my last name. Why should she deserve that gratitude and that blessing? I will bless you that when your last name changes to mine. But until that day comes, I'm not paying your bill. I'm not paying for anything for you like that. You don't deserve it.
Okay.
And nobody's obligated to be nice anyway. I mean, just have a good heart. You don't have to be nice. I mean, you don't have to be. Everybody doesn't have to be nice just because you want people to be nice.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and transition. They have a couple more super chats came. Let me get them out the way. Johnny Baptist $5 says, not nice but intentional. You also have I don't know how to say that. What is that? Like Matifi?
Zahara. Oh, Matifi.
Latifi. Yeah.
Yeah, Matifi says the nails look like Zahara from South Africa. Heart emoji.
I don't know who that is, but I hope she's pretty.
I don't know. Anybody know who Zahara is?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. Chat, if you know who Zahara is, please put a description or get some insight in the chat so I can highlight it. Dedicated to my children's future tonight. Salute to the panel and chat Sunday energy. Salute to you. Thank you. Let me see. I haven't seen it yet, but whenever somebody puts something in the chat, I'll go ahead and highlight that. Another super chat, BZ from Zaddy say, is tricking the same as simping?
Nah, I think there's a difference. I think you have some people out here that have very little time to go out and date, whether it's the hours they work, they don't have time to do that. So they would rather pay for things to substitute the time to actually go out and sit down at a table and blah, blah, blah. They would rather speed that process up so they can get back to work. Whereas simping is, I would take it as having it and just wanting to share it with anybody that are looking your direction.
I haven't heard nobody break it down. I haven't heard nobody break tricking down like that, Jay.
Well, Jay, did you I don't know, you 54 now, are you 58? I don't know. Hey,
it's 56, man. I used to tell everybody it's 54, but I came to terms now.
Okay. Well, being you 56 and I'm 48 now, during our time, he was tricking, you was talked bad about for tricking. You was shamed for doing that stuff. Now it's okay. It's acceptable. It's the thing to do. So I don't understand it. I mean, there's no tricking and simping. It's pretty much one and the same to me, just my opinion. But again, like I said, in 2023, it's acceptable. Yeah, in 94, man, you caught hell if you was doing all that.
And me says simping is putting a woman on a pedestal. Tricking is just directly paying, but tricking is more upfront.
I think when you are going out your way to give something away, like if you sit here and you work for 16 hours just to give it to somebody, just to give all of it to somebody else, like that's simping to me. That would be simping. I think tricking is somebody that has excessive means and doesn't have the time to deal with something, so they cut the line with their money. That's how I perceive it. I could be wrong.
So Jay, I have a question real quick. So can a woman be a simp? Like, if the definition of simping and tricking, I know women have said to become tricks. Can a woman be a simp?
I mean, I think they have a term for a female simp. What is that? What is it? What do they call female simps? Pick-me's?
I have no idea, because I have yet to see one. to do that. I mean, I don't know.
No, I don't think it's a pick me.
You don't think it's a pick me?
No,
I mean,
no.
the beginning of the term, I thought it was pretty like fair, but now if you just say "I love you, my husband," then you're a pick me. So I don't know.
Yeah, nah. I mean, you know, people just ride with stuff so they could put it in a box, so you could be treated a certain way. You know, just like you may not be this, but you're the closest thing. I can't really define what you are. So you love your husband, so let me just toss you in this box with the rest of them. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a specific definition, but I don't know, a term for a woman that, I mean, I'm not sure. That's a good question.
I mean, but again, how can a husband be a sin for his wife? A wife be a sin? You can't. That's some bullshit.
No,
There's no
not for their
simping for
wife.
husband and wives. I'm just saying.
Oh, got you. But do you know what that is, Hank? With Sugar, the question she asked?
Look, I have never seen a woman simp for a man. I mean, I don't. Yeah. So I can.
Yeah.
I can.
I think it's called the cougar.
Oh, okay.
But I thought the cougar was
So the sugar mama,
specific.
sugar
Like
mama.
she's older, he's younger. They have an exchange of sex.
Yeah, which literally
it was a very specific thing.
Yeah, which he typically has no means. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's even dealing with her to begin with. Because if he had means, he wouldn't be dealing with her. So I think the dynamics kind of do a complete flip around.
Yeah, so the reason I ask is because there's an urban slang definition that says a simp is an internet slang term describing someone who shows excessive sympathy and attention toward another person, typically someone who does not reciprocate the same feeling, but they're in pursuit of affection or a sexual relationship. And so, I mean, I know personal stories where women are overly affectionate. They're seeking out the desires of a man, but they don't reciprocate. They don't feel the same way, but they're constantly doing things to get what they want out of him, but they don't, they don't really give from their heart. So I was just curious, what y'all's opinion was on that.
So that sounds like a sugar baby then.
No, because the sugar baby takes. This woman is giving. You know what I mean? So I think a woman could be a simp. By that definition that you just read, a woman could be a simp. It's just rare that it's categorized that way.
A lot of times those types of women are sacrificing their body in hopes that he'll change his mind. That, okay, if I continue to have sex with him, maybe he'll be my boyfriend, or he'll want more, or something like that. That's what I hear those stories mostly with those women.
And see, that's, to me, what you just described, that sounds like a pick me, or what people describe as a pick me. To me, that's what it's at. What you mentioned earlier about I love my husband, that's not a pick me. By no
the
definition.
Internet, you could be giving your man food, rubbing his feet. Apparently that's a pick me now.
Nah, that's a woman with a husband.
Yeah, that's a woman appreciate what she got. That's what that is.
That's wild that's even like the perception now.
No, she knows what she got.
Oh, but see, this is the thing.
She's showing appreciation to pride. That's all.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. Misery loves company. And sort of, you will find that the people who are actually saying this and pushing this message and this narrative are people who are either single or in miserable relationships that are going absolutely nowhere. And sort of, why would you push that? Because you're projecting out to the world of what you're internally going through.
Right.
That's why you got to get outside. The internet is a different type of place, so you really have to go out and meet real people and have real conversations, because the internet is like a whole different world of its own.
It's wild, because just being on this panel, sometimes I'll look at the comments and they're like, oh, Chanel's a pick me because she's always sticking up for men. And I'm like, dude, you're the one who wants to be with a man. Don't you want to listen to some of the insight that I may give? I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I could give you some, little tidbits that could help you in your life. But then in real life, when I talk to women, they're like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. Or, okay, I'll try that next time. And so I'm just like, the internet is like a wormhole sometimes. So you're definitely right, Jay. You got to get outside and talk to people who are in positions that you want to be in the near future. Then you can actually have success instead of being like a keyboard warrior yelling at people.
Because it'll jade you. It'll jade you. The internet will have you, the fake internet will have you walking out into the real world with these ideals, and you will ruin your damn life. You will ruin your life. You will get punched in the face. You will say certain stuff. Like, let some of these people get off the internet and go out there and go to a cookout and try to say some of this stuff that they are praised for online. They will get their teeth punched out. I'm just being real.
I think every woman is a pick-me though. I never really understood that whole pick-me thing. I think literally every woman is a pick-me. Every woman should want to be picked. I mean, if you don't love, just say that. I mean, if you want to be single for the rest of your life, just say that. But for the ones that do want love and do desire marriage, she's a pick-me. I never really understood the reason why. I never understood the definition of that. Some women or some people say it's one thing, but some people say it's another thing. But I just take it literally for what it says, pick me. Every woman should be a pick me.
I remember back some years ago, the term pick me was how you describe sugar curls. So it was like a bad thing. Like, yeah, she's getting dunked on. Like, you know, nobody's paying her no mind. She just keeps having sex with random people. But like now it seems like the term has morphed into a typical wife that just loves her husband, loves her family. And then what do you think is going to happen in generations to come? Women are just going to be worse and worse and worse. And then we're just going to be, what are we just going to be, two different genders living away from each other? Like what type of future are we heading towards?
Or maybe multiple genders.
Right. Let's not start with that agenda though. That's another topic.
Big facts though, Chanel. Big facts.
I think it's transition time.
Yeah, I do want to go ahead and transition to
No
this.
pun intended.
I know that's right.
I do want to talk about peace, right? I ran across this slide that I'm gonna put up that says when men say they want peace in a relationship, that doesn't mean he wants a quiet, submissive woman. That means he wants you to be reasonable, to listen after he listens to you, show patience and understanding. I don't understand why it's so hard to get. So I do want to go ahead and talk about that. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Hank first. I think he might be good to go with this one first. When the man says he wants peace, that doesn't mean he wants a quiet, submissive woman. What are your thoughts, sir?
Well, look, I know my lady's upstairs right now watching this, and I had to share this with her.
Ow!
You know, and I hope she's listening. So, with that being said, yeah, I mean, sometimes a man just needs his moment. You know, what is right when you get home from work, he needs to compress. He doesn't want to sit in the car. You know what I'm saying? Because he feel like he's maybe still in the work mode. He just want to come into a quiet place in his home and just relax and kick his boots off and just chill. You know what I'm saying? Sip on a shot of a Woodford Reserve or with him Coronas. You know, whatever his drink of choice is. He just want to max out and be quiet, and be at peace for a moment. You know what I'm saying? Just to chill, to let whatever happened at work go. You know what I'm saying? Get ready to deal with whatever he has to deal with at home. You know, but he needs that moment. And allowing the man to have his peace by just, you know, stepping back, you know, assess the situation, ladies. See what's going on, how he's moving, how he's talking, how he's not really interacting with you right as soon as you come in. Yeah, that needs to be a sign. You need, okay, take notes. Take mental notes. Okay, he needs some time. He'll let me know when he's ready. Because he goes, hey, baby, how you doing? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to just blow past you like that. But, you know, I got a lot of stuff on my mind. But, you know, you sneak up behind her, give her a big hug and a kiss on the neck, let her know, hey, I'm here for you. How was your day? And that's what we'll do. We have no problem with that. But there's going to be times where we need a moment. You can't just come in there and just unload right at that moment. I know, ladies, I know y'all want to get it up off your chest. I understand. but give that man a moment. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know your lady. Y'all know your husbands. You know your man's or whatever your relationship status is. You know what he's going through because he shared it before. He told you. He let it be known. Man, I work at a high stress place. I'm having moments I'm just gonna need just to relax. Can you give me that? And hopefully she respects that boundary. You know what I'm saying? And give you that piece you're looking for. Matter of fact, only time she should come in and say, baby, you want another shot? Could I put a little ice on your drink? Or you need another beer? Or would you like another bottle of water? And then after you say, he'll let you know, yes, I would. Give me another shot. You go take his glass, fill it up, get back to him, give him this moment. And he might, as soon as you come back, he might say, babe, come on over. Sit down, let's talk. You know what I'm saying? And then he's ready to let it be known what's going on, what he's feeling. But give that man his time to get, to think about whatever he's dealing with. And he'll share it with you as long as you make yourself vulnerable so he can be vulnerable with you. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different issue right there. Make yourself, leave yourself open to be vulnerable with your man, and you make him be vulnerable with you. So, yeah, give that man his peace, man. You'll appreciate it later on in life, I promise you.
All right. I'm gonna go to Jay next. Let me put the slide back up there again. When a man say he wants peace in relationship, that doesn't mean he wants a quiet, submissive woman. That means he wants you to be reasonable, to listen after he listens to you, to show patience and understanding. I don't understand why it's so hard to get. Come on, Brother Jay, what are your thoughts about it? When a man says he wants peace, it doesn't mean he wants a quiet, submissive woman.
I think what it means is, to me, I feel like it's a disconnect between men and women from what it used to be, because I always feel like there was a time where a black man came home, or a black man and just black men in general out in the world, when we walk out of our front doors, there's a lot, the stakes are high. There's a lot that can go wrong. We go out there hoping it doesn't, but there's a lot that can go wrong. Whether it's a simple speeding, you get stopped for speeding, or your brake light is out, or, there's a lot of things that could turn real ugly, as we see out here a lot of times. So you hope to come home and not have the world to be under your roof. Everything you deal with out there, you hope that you come home to a person that is not bringing what's out there in the house. This is a place you want to be able to just breathe easy, smile, laugh. You don't want to deal with the stuff that you deal with out there. You get stopped by the cops. You don't want a woman that's arguing with the cops amplifying it, because the stakes are higher. When we do something, even if the cop is 100% in the wrong, you don't want a woman that's going to amplify that situation. That's not peaceful. You know what I'm saying? That's something, because we're going to be punished. I know y'all see these videos where a woman and her boyfriend are arguing, and the dudes that they're arguing with, they're mad at the woman, but they can't lash out on the woman. So what they do, they whoop her boyfriend's ass. So he just got a free ass whooping because of his female, wanted to run her mouth to these dudes. Stuff like that. That's not peaceful. So you want to deal with somebody that understands what the world looks at you as, and they're compassionate about that. I guess that's the best way I could explain it. Somebody that understands your plight.
All right.
And Jay, can I elaborate a little bit more on something I was saying, if you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Another thing is, when a man is listening to you, be willing to give him that same space. Reading it or going over it again made me think about something, JL. So if I'm going to be peaceful and quiet enough to hear you out, hear what you got to say, I need that same respect. So the whole time you was talking, I didn't say a word, to the point you don't even think I'm paying attention. And I can ramble off everything you just said to me, because we're listening. We're paying attention. We're doing exactly what you asked. I need you to listen to me. And that's what we'll do. But then we need that same respect. Because I'm the type that, if I don't get that respect, Okay, we no longer have this conversation because you're not having it in good faith. Because I gave you the respect to listen to what you got to say, but you're not going to give it to me. Then I'm going to go and cut this conversation for you. If I'm on the phone, I say, look, I'm about to cut off this phone call because you're not listening to what I have to say. And if that's the case, you're being disrespectful for me. That's what I consider disrespect. So I'm going to cut this phone call short and I hang up. Or if I'm in person with you and we're having this conversation, you're not going to, no. We're going to table this conversation because it's obvious it's not the right time for you right now to talk because you're not willing to listen. And if you're not willing to listen, it's not a back and forth. You're just trying to lecture me, and I'm not a boy.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point. Because that kind of signals that they wasn't listening to understand what you had to say. Because to me, what I would like and prefer is, you say your piece, I listen, I say my piece, you listen, and then we bring it together and discuss to see what makes sense. If it was understanding on both sides, and then we make the most logical approach, response, whatever's needed in that moment. That's how I see it. But when you say everything that you're going to say, and then I start talking, and then you interrupt me, and then you blow up and disperse, it's like, that's a sign of disrespect for a man. Men don't really talk too much. I don't know too many men that really talk too much. They really trip about a lot of things. So when a man has something to say, and when he's speaking, it typically is something serious, something that needs to be heard. It's something that you probably need to go ahead and take in. It's like, oh, what do you got to say? Because men, like most men, don't trip unless they just a nagger, and then you got a whole nother situation. Communication is key, man, and it requires respect on both sides. So if that man is doing you that favor for the relationship, is being calm, cool, and collective, and hearing you out, you got to be able to hear him out. Like Hank said, I agree. All right, let's go ahead and finish talking about this peace in the house. Let me who spoke last? Jay spoke. Let me get a woman in there. Angie Soul, what are your thoughts? Let's see if we can get a woman's perspective on this.
When I saw the first sentence, I immediately thought about when a woman and a man is having a disagreement and just the back and forth. And I know that women tend to be more emotional, especially when they're in the heat of the moment, while a man is more logical. And as women, we often try to speak and respond, not necessarily just to give a response and not necessarily just to listen. And I myself have been guilty of this. This is something that I have learned over the years of being with my husband, that it takes a certain level of awareness to really correct that from a woman. And it goes back down to tone and delivery. You're having a disagreement. He's saying what he has to say. He says something that triggers you. And it's not necessarily that he said it in a way that it was his tone. It was just the statement that triggered some kind of insecurity within you. Then before you know it, you are cutting him off. You're raising your level of voice. you're saying more so of the hurtful things. And then it becomes ugly because now you officially have an argument. It's escalated. Nobody is listening to each other. The man's definitely not listening to you. He's turned it off. So when I see that sentence is really just, as you mentioned, communication. You have your floor to speak and you say what you say. I sit there and I listen and I don't interrupt despite how bothered I may be with that particular statement. And then when you are done and you've given your perspective, then it's my turn to provide my response. And then you have a collective conversation where it's more so an effort and a goal to understand one another as opposed to who can one up the other person.
All right. Men are not the enemy. What are your thoughts about it, man? When a man says he wants peace, that doesn't mean he wants a quiet, submissive woman.
I'm gonna actually opt out this round because the last time I was on this live, I can't remember who it was, but somebody told me they prefer their woman to be seen and not heard. And y'all almost chew my daggone head off going against that. So I'm just gonna sit back and listen.
What?
You know what? A lot of times I have to remain calm because I know my opinion goes against a lot of women, so I be trying to chill. But Jr. For real, I'm gonna sit myself out this round because you don't remember. I think it was Mr. I don't think it was Mr. Lego. Somebody told me that they prefer their woman seen and not heard. And after that, I was like, okay, fine, you win.
Are you sure it was women and not children?
They prefer their woman seen and not heard. And I quote.
This
So
is Sunday. You
I'm
got
a opt
different
out.
energy over here.
Can I just opt out this round? Okay, fine. I believe that the statement is as clear as it gets. What everybody who's already spoken, especially what Angie Soul said, I agree with everything. I agree that women do we go for, I don't know if I can say balls, but we go for the balls, so to say. Women try to grip them things and twist them as hard as she can to hurt a man's feelings, so to say. I'm not saying literally, you guys. I'm saying like hypothetically. Women do hit below the belt. We don't know. A lot of us don't know when to be quiet. A lot of us don't know how to, just for the peace of things, for the calm of things, just being quiet. A lot of us don't know how to do that. Um, but yes, I don't know, y'all. I guess y'all would have to answer that question because from what I was told again last time, I guess some women do want, for the sake of his peace. I think a lot of men do identify peace with literally the woman doesn't say anything. So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna listen this round.
Well, I mean, first off, I think you need to say your perspective at all times, especially when you're on the panel, because there are people that think like you, there are people that are rooting for you, and there's some people in the chat that say, "Oh, men is not the enemy." I don't know where she's been. I've been looking forward to hearing her perspective. So the great thing about bringing it together
Jr.
is
Jr. If I said everything I said, you wouldn't want me back on your platform. You wouldn't, because I would shut some women down.
wasn't
But
finished. Wasn't finished. Wasn't finished. But men are not the enemy. I think that, and you have to have a level. Like you wouldn't go into like a police station and say, "I just robbed 5 banks. Take me in," unless there was something that was up. So I think whatever arena you step in, you kind of know. For the most part, most people know how to hold themselves. So I think if it's a panel and you seeing how the energy is, I do think that you have to gauge and measure what type of energy you want to bring. Some people may be like, "Oh, the panel is boring." They may want to turn it up a little bit. So they may say something a little spicy, but at the same time, they're still being respectful. So if you just pay attention, you will just see what type of energy you need to be on. But I do think that you can articulate yourself well where it's received and it's firm, it's direct, it's not beating around the bush. So it's just words of encouragement. I mean, you can do what you want to do, take the information, but I just would always say whenever you in that situation, just still speak. And whatever chips may fall, let them fall where they're going to fall. And we'll process through it. But I'm a master moderator. I haven't had not one conflict dispersed on this panel. So you have no worries. This is a safe space. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and keep moving. Okay.
And shout out to the master moderator.
Master moderator, man. Master. It's always under control, man. We don't have any highlight moments. When a man says he wants peace, that doesn't mean he wants a quiet, submissive woman. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Luis. What are your thoughts, sir?
I like what Hink and Jay said early on. I think they did a really good job. At least took a lot of the points that I was going to highlight. But I would say this, as you guys were talking, and even when Miss Men Are Not the Enemy was speaking, I took a moment. I thought to myself, at what point did we really stop learning how to listen? Because listening has seemed now to be a lost art. like even in even in the education place, even places of education, work, you know what I'm saying, in people's interpersonal life. I'm starting to kind of wonder, like, at what point did we really stop learning how to effectively listen to one another, and sort of when did that arc really start to go down, right? And I think that people could say, social media and this and that, but I think that I think it has to do a lot with the upbringing in the circumstances of what you grew around. And sort of if you've seen people have in conflict in how they talk to one another and how they resolve it, right? That will show you and give you an insight of how you should navigate and handle certain people, especially when you're in the heat of the moment. And sort of how that translates to the topic. I think that, when somebody wants, some space or some, uh time for themselves to kind of like decompress, kind of get away from their day, especially if you work in the very high stress, high demanding jobs like, surgeons, doctors, especially after we went through those last 2 years of COVID. Any job that is hard on the body, you're kind of physically into it and sort of, having a moment to kind of decompress. People don't really understand like how important that is for the mind body, and so at that, I think sometimes um people feel because their partner is there and they're relatively there that they're always going to be on call, right? To like, you know, have these types of conversations where their bandwidth is already full. And sort of they haven't gotten a moment to kind of decompress and kind of um have some sort of like time to themselves. Um, and I think peace comes in many facets. I think it's either just either spending time by yourself, reading, maybe just having a couple of drinks, like like Hink has said. You know what I'm saying? Some dudes have man cave spaces. Some dudes just go to the gym, and that's the way that they conquer the world, right? They kind of get that stress off of them. But I think you have to learn your person, and I think you have to effectively listen and watch their behavior and see how those two align for you to kind of make an assessment of when you should, address them about certain topics, and when you should address them about certain things that might be pressing at that moment. Unless it's an emergency, let it mellow out. It will eventually lead into a conversation at a later point. But that's what I got.
All right. So Chanel, what are your thoughts about it?
I really agree with what Angie was saying, especially being in a new marriage. Learning these cues, learning these things is very important. Sometimes I think women don't use their intuition for good, or at least where it's needed. In a situation like this, he's just came home, he's tired, he's drained. Use your intuition and feel out the situation. What do you think he may need in that moment? And I'm talking to myself too. In a new marriage, it takes time to understand those cues and understand your partner. But I think women, we have this God-given thing where we can feel someone's energy. We can feel, what do they need? What are they going through? Should I leave them alone? But sometimes we get caught up with our own self and say, oh my gosh, I had such a crazy day at home or crazy day at work. I need to unpack everything on him as he enters the door. And that's not very good. It may feel right in the moment because you're like, oh, finally you're home. But it's actually unfair to your man coming in. He's stressed. He may want to unload in whatever way that may be, maybe watch TV, have a drink, or whatever his way is. So I think using our intuition that we naturally have, but for the good, is very needed here. And also get to know your man. And then also I would say for the men, perhaps just communicate that. It doesn't have to be in that moment, but it could be like, hey, from here on out, when I come home, I may need to decompress. It may look like this. It's not in any way against you, or it's not saying that I'm trying to ignore you, but I just need this for a few hours or what have you. This is what I need. I think that could be helpful too.
All right. Miss Sugar Curls, I'm gonna go to you next. When a man says he wants peace, that doesn't mean he wants a quiet, submissive woman.
Yeah. So, oh, am I echoing?
No, you good.
Okay. So what I was thinking is what I've always been taught is the woman is the peacemaker of the home, essentially. And so that's one of her duties. That's one of the things that she possesses. And I was thinking that before we can be peaceful or peacemakers to our husbands, we have to be peaceable within ourselves. So if we are contentious or we're constantly liking chaos or we're not settled within our own spirit, it's going to be very difficult to then go into a marriage or relationship and then try to be a peaceful woman. It's just not going to happen. And then we're not going to attract the type of man that really truly understands what that means. He may be a chaotic man. And so, then you have that dynamic. I also think about the family arrangement, like if there's children. So if the children are being raised and the husband passes down his disciplinary, his way of instructing the children and they are out of line. As mothers, we have to then step in as peacemakers and keep the children in line, keep them well behaved so that when the husband comes home, he comes home to a peaceful home. The children are well behaved. He doesn't have to, come behind and do many things that should have already been done. And I think it's important that we learn our men as well, because some men want to come home and they want to watch TV or they want a massage. They may want a hot meal prepared, when they come home. Some men like drinking tea. Like as Chanel was saying, as women, we have to use that God-given intuition, slow down, be calm, and just observe and learn our men and be patient as well. I think being peaceful takes patience too, because as Angie said too, we're not gonna get it perfectly right off, but if we are committed with the communication and we're committed to the arrangement, we will learn our husbands and learn what they need.
All right. I asked this question before, and I just still want some clarity because it happens on panels, and I think it happens in relationships as well when you're having a discussion, a disagreement, argument, whatever you want to label it. So when somebody is speaking, the other person needs to remain silent, right? Well, does a conversation go if one person is silent, or if somebody says something that, let's say they misquoted you, or it wasn't what you said, is that person allowed to come in to correct you while you're talking? Or do they need to stand down in order to have an effective, productive conversation? I, I'm just, I just really want to know how that works. I'm under the impression that no matter if the person says something wrong or not, wait till they finish. But then there's also this thing that comes up that says, well, you're going to forget what you said. Now, if somebody pulls out their phone, it might be a sign of disrespect to take notes. Should they come with a notebook or the note application open before the conversation and state that, or is that too much? I'm just looking for understanding. So if you guys can help me to help the audience and people on the panel, then maybe we can get some understanding. Men not an enemy. This would be something you should be able to speak on. So this ain't got nothing to do with that. This is something that I see a lot often. Not personally me, but I'm just saying I've seen it and I have been a part of it and experienced it, where I just see this. And in me being a master moderator, I see this happens a lot. So just leading some clarity if you guys don't mind. Hopefully I'm not taking up too much of your time. Now, I apologize on the front end from interrupting the flow, but it just came to me.
This is something I actually struggle with too. But I personally want to hear, a person's thoughts and understand the conversation. But if I'm being misquoted, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I have to stop you because everything you say after that is void because it makes no sense. You didn't say what I said. You misquoted me. So in real life conversation, I do cut off people if you're misquoting what I said, especially if it's intentional or if you're nitpicking what I said to twist a narrative. on panels, I'll be more respectful because this is the internet, and it sounds weird when there's just a million voices, but I know for a fact that I could be wrong, and I will admit it if I am wrong, but I will listen to you till the cows come home. But if you misquote me or make me sound like I'm crazy or horrible or what have you, I do cut people off just because I want to correct you and say, hey, hold on, I did not mean that, or maybe you misunderstood. This is what I meant. Now continue. I don't know if that's wrong though.
Oh yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's bad.
Like I seen some people in the chat, and I might have to do a whole show on that because some people do ramble, and some people are talkers and they can just talk for a long time. So even if you are a master communicator, some people have short. To me, I say have a little balance. If you talk a little bit, then let that person talk. Then y'all kind of bounce back. To me, that's a good conversation. But I've been told that that's not how you have a conversation. I've been told that you shouldn't even respond with I. I've even done some research on it. If whatever the person's talking about, then you need to ask questions related to what they're talking about in order to have a great conversation. Now, I understand when it comes to networking, that's pretty good because people like to talk about themselves. So whenever you can just keep them going and they talking about themselves, then it's a win-win. 9 times out of 10, you guys will have another outing, or maybe you guys might be able to close the deal. But I'm just looking for some clarity. I'm just a guy on YouTube. So.
My theory behind people who tend to be long-winded or just ramblers are usually sometimes individuals who are not heard in their lived day-to-day life. They're probably someone who has who tends not to be heard often, or they find or they lack other outlets of communication, whether it's writing, whether it's voice recording, whether it's some sort of other medium to express themselves, right? Is that they over kind of Jesus Christ, compensate for that lack of being heard at times. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that there is an art in a way of kind of, hitting the high points, the mid, and then getting to the end of whatever you have to say without adding all these short little, sidetrack stories that meander, right? And I think that might I might not be wrong, but this is my own personal theory. It might just lead to people who tend not to be listened to often in their lived experience.
All right.
What is the best way if someone misquotes you? Like, what's the best way to deal with that?
Give them some grace. Give them some grace, because sometimes when in the heat of the moment, some people just misspoke certain things. You know what I'm saying? It's just it happens. I mean, you might misspoke or are kind of confused, or maybe run it into 2 different situations. You know what I'm saying? And so it happens. Give that person grace, and then just after they're done, correct them then. But yeah, that's not exactly how it happened. And then and just give the person grace. You know what I'm saying? I think that's because when you cut a man off, it could go 1 or 2 ways. He can shut down, or he gonna go even harder, and that voice gonna get even deeper. If his voice not normal, leave that deep higher. He gonna raise up, and then now it could get ugly from there. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want neither situation. You want to keep the good, wholesome, flowing communication with your spouse. But in order to do it, you got to give him some grace. Like I said, if he misspoke, just okay, just make a mental note and come back to it and correct it and let me know, hey, well, this is not exactly what I meant, or this is not exactly what I said. And normally in the midst of it, we hear ourselves, we was like, oh shit, I kind of misspoke. And then he might correct it in the middle of his speech or in the middle of what he's saying. And if he doesn't, just kindly and say, hey, well, that's not how it exactly happened, or it's supposed to win, or it's not what I was saying, or you took it the wrong way, so.
Real quick, Sugar Girls, I know Sugar Girls got something to say. I mean, 2 things. It all depends. Everything's situation. You can, on the front end, say, hey, when we have conversations, this is the way that we're going to handle it. Maybe it might be like, hey, I'm gonna hold this Tej lip balm, and whoever holds it is the speaker. And if you don't have it, then you don't say anything. Y'all may be fighting over it, right? I don't know. Lord knows who has dry lips, but or if they misquote you, then just see how long they talk. Because again, some people may be talkers. So if they 5 minutes in, you might say, just so you know, how you do it is going to be key at that point. Can I say something real quick? And then I mean interrupt you. Just so you know, I never said that, but we can continue talking. I'll listen. And that might be a little bit better. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say. No. You're not going to do. You always do it, and then it just blow up from there. So I think how you interrupt is key. So that's just my thoughts. Go ahead, Sugar Curls.
Yeah, that's a good point, JR, when you said, have an arrangement, maybe hold an item, say, okay, when you see me hold this up, this means I'm going to say something. But for some people, if their communication is very difficult, they may have to do that. And those things actually work. But I think about two things. I think about two proverbs that talk about a person is foolish when they are taking offense to everything. Sometimes I just let people be wrong. And I'm like, you know what? You don't know what you're talking about. You sound silly right now. I'm not going to worry about it. It doesn't even matter because I know what I said and I know who I am. And I also think about another proverb that says that an answer when mild turns away rage. So to Hink's point, the way we come in and interject counts as well. But I understand Chanel, especially if we're talking to someone that we care about or a friend or a husband, and we know we're sincere and we know we didn't do something, it's very difficult to just let the person continue to speak improperly about us. So for me, what I do is if I feel within myself, my emotions are getting heightened, I just take a deep breath and I don't interrupt because then I know that what I'm going to say is probably not going to get the best response. So then I will let them just be wrong. And then I will come back when I'm more calm in that conversation. Otherwise, it may not go well.
Lord, I'm still learning.
That's what it's all about. Man, not the enemy. I said we all learning. We all learn. We learn each day. We're a student in life. Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. I think we might be looking at this from a very skewed perspective, and I'm gonna throw a wrench into this. As we get older, our ability to listen goes down, right? Like our ability, like, so there was a woman that came to my job like last week. She did a whole lunch and learn presentation, and she did like this audio test, and she was like, "Can you hear this? Can you hear this? Can you hear this?" Right? And surprisingly, a lot of the men heard it a lot less compared to the women. Not by much, but like by like one segment, right? And as time goes by, as we get older in late 20s, 30s, 40s, etc., our listening cognition goes down. And sort of if you find a range of people who are having the most trouble listening and communicating with each other and understanding, is usually people within that middle crowd of the early to mid 30s to late, to early 40s, right? Because it just seems that we it's not that we can't listen, it's just that I like the cognition of us trying to understand and pick a point, like what is the person trying to convey to me, what is the most valuable thing. And sort of sometimes what I hear on this panel, not on this one specifically today, but on previous panels, is that a man will lay, or anyone will lay something out, a whole perspective, and then they'll hold on to one little word that they said. They said an entire breakdown of first, second, third, but they'll hold on to one word. They're like, but you said this. And it's like the entire thesis of his entire presentation falls apart because they're holding on. And I think that some people are not registering cognitively across the board, and sort of when they get hung up on that word, that's their only way of kind of engaging or being in defense, is because that's the only thing that they really understood or got out of it. Everything else kind of went right in and right out.
All right. If you guys haven't already, hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Again, shout out to the sponsor, Teach, handling uncomplicated skincare for men. We had any super chats that came through. Shout out to all my green gangers in the chat. I see you dedicated to my children's future. Walk the talk. Time out. Blackson. What else we got in there? Embrace the grace. I still see you in there. I see Precious is heavily working the chat as well. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. We got the greatest chat ever. With that being said, one thing's for certain, two things for sure. We know the ladies like the meat. Ow! I know it catches everybody off guard, but with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the meat because we know the ladies love it. The meat of the conversation is letting go of control to get what you want. Letting go of control to get what you want. I do have a clip that I'm gonna play. You know, I love the clips, man. You know, we're getting old. My patience is thin, and I don't know if I can keep listening to conversations to get topics anymore. So I take the easy route like everybody else. Let's talk about what everybody else talk about. All right. I'm 56, man. I'm going on 60. It's almost time for me to retire. The next 2 years, I will be retiring, and Trigger Mike will be taking over. No, I'm starting the room, putting shit out there, man. I'm gonna be doing it till I'm 70, man. 70 is the age, man. 70 is the age. I gotta beef up my 401k. So 70 be the age. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Letting go of control to get what you want. Here's the clip, family.
We talk about this all the time. It's this space of control that we see women operate in a lot, to where it's like, yo, since I don't have any control over this space of my life, I'm going to control every aspect in this space. And in that is so many blessings that are missed, that are lost, that are not able to be grasped because you're saying, this doesn't look like how I created it. Typically, the things that you want the most are the things that you control the most and you fixate on the most, and the things that get away from you the most because you created what it's supposed to look like, rather than just letting it happen and letting it come to you. Yo, I really, really want to be in love, right? That's the first thought that we have. I really want to be in love, but I want to be in love with a man that is 6 foot, a man that is successful. He has this, he has this. You can write an entire book about it. But now, because you're the creator in your head of what this situation is supposed to look like, you're not even able to receive it.
One thing's for certain, two things for sure. We don't listen. And based off my previous experiences, people, they probably zoned out. I'm gonna play it one more time. I just need to make sure the panel is engaged. Are you guys ready? You got your notepads out? Chat, are y'all ready? I'm gonna go ahead and play this again. I need everybody. I'm about to play a clip. So I need y'all to wake up. If the kids are in the way, tell them to go into the next room, and I need y'all to focus so we can have a good dialogue. I don't want to come to nobody and they say, oh, shit, you came to me first, because I don't know who I'm going. I may go first this time, because I have not yet heard anybody tonight, well, not tonight, this day say that they agree with what I said. I know I said a lot. So with that being said, I'm going to play the clip. Thumbs up. Good. All right, team, here we go.
Me and Brittany, we talk about this all the time. It's this space of control that we see women operate in a lot, to where it's like, yo, since I don't have any control over this space of my life, I'm going to control every aspect in this space. And in that is so many blessings that are missed, that are lost, that are not able to be grasped because you're saying, this doesn't look like how I created it. Typically, the things that you want the most are the things that you control the most and you fixate on the most, and the things that get away from you the most because you created what it's supposed to look like, rather than just letting it happen and letting it come to you. Yo, I really, really want to be in love, right? That's the first thought that we have. I really want to be in love, but I want to be in love with a man that is 6 foot, a man that is successful. He has this, he has this. You can write an entire book about it. But now, because you're the creator in your head of what this situation is supposed to look like, you're not even able to receive it.
I don't know about y'all, but I needed to get that replay. Needed that. This is deep, man. This is real deep right here. But wait, so I'm gonna go to you first, brother. Hope you don't mind. Letting go of control to get what you want.
Yeah, I was actually writing down some ideas and thoughts.
I had a feeling you was gonna say that, my brother.
So
Don't call with me.
yeah, so one of the things that I kind of took away, like that was that was a really good clip. That was a good find, Jr. Um, control equals power, and I think most men are a believer that women love power. You know what I'm saying? In what it wields, but to hone in on what he was talking about specifically, especially about control, and kind of curating the type of life that you want and what it's supposed to look like. You have to be able to plant the seeds, right? And by planting the seeds in your life and watching and trusting the process is by staying consistent to who you are and what type of outcome. Unfortunately, we hear the moniker of men have to self-improve, but women typically do not hear the idea that you have to qualify yourself for the things that you want. You can't say that you want X, but you're not doing all the things that will lead you to X. And sort of that's what I talk about planting the seeds. It's like slowly do the things that you need to do in order to qualify for you to be in proximity or in orbit for the things that you want. You know what I'm saying? You can't want gym results for just not by just only going for walks. You can't want, what I'm saying, more salary or more money by only, watching Netflix. So people need to be able to put themselves in a position to qualify themselves for the things that they want. And by trying to control the process in terms of like, well, I'm going to do this and this is what's going to happen. You got to understand, like, things take time and you got to allow things to kind of fall into place. And unfortunately, we are in an instant gratification society, very much microwave. And sort of people want instantaneous results. And sort of that's what it kind of equates to. So that's what I got.
All right. Question now. Well, y'all lips are, well, y'all. It's amazing just looking at y'all, just not knowing like which direction it's gonna go in. Y'all be doing everything and looking away.
I feel like I'm in school. I'm like, oh gosh, he's gonna pick me. I do agree with you, Lewis, to a certain extent. I do agree that you can put barriers in your life that it would not supersede certain things. So in his example, that woman should have certain standards that will attract certain types of men. Obviously, you don't want to have no Pookie and Ray Ray approaching you or you accepting them into your life.
Nope.
But I do believe with love and relationships, women exerting too much control, one, shows fear, but
Yes.
also men don't operate like that, not in my experience at least. If you're showing so much control within a relationship setting, you're almost doomed to have a certain type of man where, like, at least in the Caribbean we call pansy man, who will, you can say anything, you can say jump and he'll say how high. After a certain time, that's not cool, at least as a woman. So having some type of control in your life, maybe in your single life, it's very important because you need to have your, finances in order. You need to have your hygiene in order. You need to have your spirituality in order, all of those things. But when it comes to relationships on the woman's side, you having too much control is not conducive. Letting go is probably the best bet. But you have to be letting go to a masculine, God-fearing man for your life to not be in shambles.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Jay. What are your thoughts about it, sir? Letting go of control to get what you want.
I guess the way I interpreted that particular statement or what he was talking about is knowing that you're gonna reach a particular destination. However, the route in which you make it to that destination you have to leave some of that up to faith. You know, you can't be so rigid in the voyage to get there. You know, like she was just explaining those specific, you know, prerequisites for a person, for her, that she wants to be married to, or the person in that particular story that they wanted to be in a relationship with. You have to realize that you may need to deviate from that list. Like, you're gonna get exactly what you want, but that list or that voyage may need to be deviated from, you know. And if you know that, say if you know only half of that list, say if you get the outcome you want, but half of that list is provided to you, you know, are you going to be satisfied with that? You know, you're going to get the happiness, you're going to get the person that is God fearing and that loves you. However, this particular list is, wipe half of that off. You know, would you be satisfied with that? You know, so it's kind of like we set up structure. And I guess what do they say about, you know, what is it, the 4 P's or the 3 P's? Lewis, you would say this a lot. Preparation prevents piss poor performance, something to that extent. However, along with all that preparation, there is chance. You know, there is a level of faith, chance, you know, whatever you call it, depending on your religion, ideology. And you have to leave that. You can't have control of that. You know what I mean? You have to leave that alone. So are you good with that? And I think that's how I essentially read into that topic, where it's not going to go how you want it to go if you're kind of micromanaging everything. It's just not going to happen.
All right. Man, not the enemy. Letting go of control to get what you want. What are your thoughts, man?
What I took from that particular clip is basically what stuck out to me the most, I should say, is what he said at the end when he was talking about like, to me, what I got out of it is like circumstantial. Like a lot of people love based on circumstances, or they have stipulations on, you know, how much they're willing to, how they love. Say that again. The TV's too loud.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Well, you can go to somebody else and come back to me because I gotta get up.
All right, go ahead, Sugar Girls.
Yeah, this is a very, very good topic, because I think that a lot of women we don't realize we're being controlling at times, and that we're trying to micromanage a situation to get a certain outcome so that we're just so comfortable. And we don't understand that we're actually acting out of fear, and we need to strengthen our faith. Faith in God, faith in the man that we have chosen, really opening ourselves and giving ourselves, being vulnerable to him and saying, you know, I trust you, I trust the situation, I trust God, and just to let go. I think it's also important to learn how to mitigate. Kind of what I think Jay may have been speaking about is, we may, as Chanel said, we may have this list of things that we're attracted to, you know, and we should have those things that we're looking for in a man, but also be realistic and say, you know, if he doesn't come with this, how can I meet in the middle? How can I mitigate? And that's something that I had to learn that I'm actually more free and more happy when I learn to mitigate and say, you know what, this world isn't perfect. This man isn't perfect. People aren't. How can I still make this situation work out for me? And that is through compromise. And that is through letting go of the fear and just enjoying the moment, you know, those moments. So this is something that we really need to work on even more diligently as women. I really feel that way.
All right. I'll go there and go to Angie Soul. What are your thoughts about it? Letting go of control to get what you want.
You know, when Sugar Curls talks about the control aspect and how it's really related to fear, it's 100% correct. From my perspective, anytime that I have had controlling moments or wanted to control a particular area of my life, it's because I was fearful that something was slipping through my hands. So if there is a problem that needs to be resolved, or there's something going on in your life that you don't particularly like and you're frustrated with it, it's almost like you're trying to force a circle into a square piece. The more you try, the worse it gets. And that's when it comes back down to what Sugar Curls and Jay was saying about the faith factor. I think like once you have a certain level of faith and you use that as the foundation, it allows a lot more doors of blessings and opportunities to open up. Um, a lot of people don't realize I'm a big person who believes in like you get whatever energy you put out, you know? If you're putting out this energy of trying to control every factor in your life, which is typically tied to a negative manner or negative attitude, that's exactly what's going to be multiplied in your life. So when you use the faith as a foundation and you let go, that's when you realize that, oh, I was worried about nothing. It was going to work out in the end. It may not have taken the particular journey that I envisioned it to, but in the end, it did work out. Um, so yeah, very, very great topic. I do think I also agree as women, we really do need to work more in that area and also recognize that how you may do a particular thing in your life, that doesn't necessarily mean that your spouse is going to handle the same situation the same way. And it doesn't mean that he's handling it wrong. It's just different.
Faith without work is dead.
There you go. All right, I'm gonna try you, men, not the enemy. Letting go of control of what you want. You're on mute, just so you know.
So in a nutshell, I'll just make this really quick. I don't seek to control in relationships. The only thing that would trigger me to want to control is when a man is out of control. Um, and then, like what I was trying to say, another thing I want to speak on is that what I've witnessed is a lot of women don't practice faith. We could talk about faith all day, which it sounds beautiful, but a lot of women don't know what faith is pertaining to relationships. For an example, I get this in common, like when a woman has been cheated on, her initial reaction is to leave the relationship, leave the marriage, divorce the man. And I say this time and time again, you'll never be able to express that you've been married 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 60 years, if every time you get in a situation you don't like, you leave. Or if a situation occurs and you're not, steadfast, and you don't practice faith, you don't practice patience, you don't believe in your husband, you don't believe in forgiveness, you don't want to get over whatever occurred, you just want to keep on marinating in what's happening. So therefore, you opt out thinking that you're walking away the winner, which really you didn't win anything. You just left a situation that may have worked out had you stayed, in the relationship. So at the end of the day, yes, I do believe with everyone pertaining to the faith thing. I know that I have gotten through a lot of things with my son's dad, the guy that y'all just saw on camera. A lot of women would shun down on me for sticking with my relationship, So, yeah. So at the end of the day, I feel like I understand why women want control, because like you guys already touched on the fear thing. But at the end of the day, you're not going to always have control. I mean, things you have to know how to navigate when things don't work out the way you want it to be or the way you want it to. You have to know, okay, that just wasn't for me, or okay, this occurred, so now what? Versus like, just throwing in the towel and pitching a fit.
Right on. That was good. Men are not the enemy. So I'm gonna speak on it because I ain't had a chance to speak on it yet. So
Thank you, Hank.
with that being said, ladies, having control is not what y'all think it really is. It's not all what it's really cracked up to be. It's not like it's some easy thing, and it's not really nothing to brag about at times. Because men are not the enemy said. What about when you take a loss? What about when you take an L? Y'all don't want them problems. Let your man have it. Let your man deal with it. Because more than likely he's going to deal with it in a more logical fashion and in a more better aspect, and not just go off emotions all the time, and not just going off the act of people pleasing. He's going to do what's best for the family, even if he takes some L's. He's going to reassess, he's going to evaluate, and he's going to make the proper corrections. If you got the right man. Now, if you got some loser dude that you probably shouldn't have got, you got that dude that you was in your 20s, and if that dude's a bad boy, and you just thought he was the one, but he really wasn't, you made a bad decision. Yeah, that dude is not going to do you right, and you probably need to get out as soon as possible. But if you got that right man, that good man that the good Lord bless you with, you're going to be all right. But you got to allow to let yourself go. When you got two people both trying to control the situation, that's not good. Somebody got to take the knee. So, ladies, when you take the knee, you throw your hands up, say, baby, it's all you. I'm going to ride with you to the ends of the earth. I'm going to ride with you. And I trust and believe in you. You're going to take us where we need to go as a family. I had to do that with my lady. She found some type of faith in me and realized in me to the point she sold her home in Dallas, Texas, moved all the way here to Kentucky. Why? Because she's seen something in me. She's seen something to the point she's getting an apartment now. And when we come together and get married, we'll be in our home together when we purchase it. But she's seen something to me to make that big of a sacrifice. She realized what she has. Now, ladies, you got to have your standards, and certain standards you got to have, you shouldn't move over. If one of your standards is required that a man marries you, then let that be your standard, and you hold firm to it. You don't move, you don't adjust, you don't accept nothing. Now, if that's not your standard, do as you will. But if that is, hold fast to it. Remind him. Bring it to his attention. 6 months from now, baby, I'm looking forward to going ring shopping. Okay, cool. 6 more months later, 12 months, baby, I seen the sale at the jewelry store. Maybe they got some rings on sale. How about we go over this weekend? We got time. Ain't nothing on the calendar. How about we make a date of it? We go there, then go over to the ice cream shop, have some ice cream, maybe check out a movie while we out that way. I heard them all having a great 4th of July sale. Why not take advantage of the sale? Save a few coins here and there and go ring shopping. Cool. That's your standard. That's where you move because you require marriage. And guess what? If that man's any type of man, he's going to respect that. He's going to honor that. And say, yeah, my baby, she deserves it. She deserves my last name. I found her worthy enough to bless her. And they'll do it. But you got to let that control. Stop trying to be in control of everything. It's not always the thing to crack up to be, ladies. There's times men wish they didn't have the control. There's times men wish they didn't have to make them hard decisions. But we know we got to take and make them decisions. Regardless if it's good or bad and indifferent, we got to make them decisions. Whether it's going to go in the right way or the wrong way, we got to accept it. At the end of the day, society going to look at us. Why did you allow this to happen? Why? Why did you allow your wife to act this way? Why? So, man, I'm not going to do that. Baby, that's not how we move. That's not how we carry ourselves. That's not how we act. And so I got to correct it from the giddy up. And every man should. And if you're a good lady, a good woman, you acquiesce. You do what is asked. You realize, oh, yeah, I was out of pocket. I was out of character. Let me sit back and listen to what he has to say. You on me, Master Model.
Chanel, did you go? Oh, you did already? Everybody went?
Yeah, I think everybody went. That was a good bomb right there, Hank. That was really, really good. I think a lot of people did resonate with that. And I think your consistency, man, I think your consistency in how you show up and what you talk about and how you stand on your position all the time. And people know your rhetoric, man. People know how you give it up and sort of pause. Um, you know, they resonate with you and sort of like I could. It's only easy to see how a woman would want to align with you and what you got going on. So much praise to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, much praise to you too, Hank, as well, man. I'm hearing more and more of your story. I know we talk offline too, man. You're doing great things and good. I'm happy to see you happy too. I'm happy to see everything going smooth and you guys are building and you guys are shaping up to become one. So that's a good thing. Good to you, brother.
It's so crazy how his story is similar to mine. I moved all the way from Atlanta to Missouri to rekindle the flame with my son's dad. So it's dope. And my son's dad has a lot of similarity as far as personality, like him. That's crazy.
All right.
It's really important to believe in your man. And I think just like what Hank was saying, if you have a really good man, you should really just try it out his way at least, because it can actually turn out better than what you had in store. It may take some twists and turns. It may get a little dark, but in the end, it can actually work out better. And then also, you built that trust, you built that bond because you followed what your man suggested, what he led the relationship to be. So I really think this is something that new couples and people who are looking to become in a relationship should really hear. And I really love this topic.
Let me ask you a question. I kind of wanna kind of enlarge Hink's situation that he brought up. He had engaged with a woman who he had convinced to relocate for him. Should a man ever relocate to where a woman is?
Yes, why not?
So you feel that it could easily go both ways in terms of one person uprooting their life and relocating where they are.
I mean, I think it's a
In
case
my
by
opinion,
case
yeah.
basis. I think it's a case by case basis, depending on.
We can't see you on cam. Okay?
Oh, my fault. I think it's a case by case basis depending on their profession. Is it a job that you can do somewhere else? Is it a nursing job? Is it a teaching job? Is it something that, you're able to move to a different location and do it anywhere, versus something that's more specific where this job isn't other places, so I think it's case by case. I don't think it's necessary gender specific.
Yeah, I asked that because I'm curious because it almost seems like it could almost be perceived, and I don't know, anybody can correct me if I want, especially out in the chat. If it seems like she's leading if you relocate to her.
Well, go
I've
ahead.
had some dudes who have said it that way. I'm just trying to get, a temperature check.
It doesn't
So
have to be, because if let's say both my husband and I aren't from New York, but let's say he's from Missouri and we're dating long distance and he's a doctor or a lawyer, he could get way more job opportunities moving to where I am, so it really does depend on the situation. But I think it's best that the man makes the decision. So if he decides to relocate to where the woman is, that's his decision. Or if he suggests to his woman, you should relocate to where I am because it makes sense, that should be his decision too. So perhaps stating it in a way that he makes that final suggestion or that decision, maybe that will sit better with you. But him relocating for her or him relocating to where she is doesn't necessarily have to mean that he's allowing her to lead. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I think it is case by case and situation. I do think if a person relocates strictly for a woman, in a sense of he's there and he's moving into her place and he doesn't really have anything going on, he's trying to find work. But if he is say he's an entrepreneur, let's just say he has multiple properties and yeah, I've visited, let's say Florida, a few times. I actually like it there. I consider moving there. I'll set up camp for 6 months. Maybe rent out an Airbnb or maybe temporary housing or something like that. And he's doing his own thing, and it's like, hey, while I'm there, if you want to spend more time together, then I think it's a different situation because he is still taking care of work. Maybe he does have clients down there. Maybe he's able to take his work with him. Um, he's still in full control. And if he decides he doesn't want to be bothered with her, he's in a mind state of I'm gonna still chill here. I didn't come down here for you. I came down here because it's beautiful weather. Um, I wouldn't mind doing this. I got some other clients. I can close more deals and network. And just so happy, I met you and I can, kick it with you and see if this is gonna go somewhere. And then maybe after 6 months, I plan on moving here. So you're more than welcome to come with me. So I just think it's all about the mindset, the approach, what he got going on. But strictly just for a woman, and he's not getting to any of his purpose, he's falling off and all that stuff, then yeah, no, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, because sometimes I have heard dudes talk about that they relocated for their girl and they moved in with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's really the part where I'm kind of like splitting straws because it's like, okay, um, you can't be sporadic about it, right? Even if you've had the conversation and you're job hunting, and let's say you got an amazing job opportunity, you checked it out, you like the area. I don't. There's other factors that I think you have to take into play. Could you see yourself being here long term? Do you think you could establish a network of people while you're there? There are other things that have to be in line, and then also have your own place in order. Because I think that you merging lives like directly right away prior to having that sort of that space where you just relocated to the same city. So now you're spending more time together and you're going out and you're getting building a much more deeper connection. I think that takes time a little bit. I think people okay, he just relocated from Minnesota to like Tennessee and now he's moved in with me. Like, I think that like immediate, um, transition is a little bit hard, and I think some people don't really have the mental sort of capacity of cohabitating or living with somebody right away in that sense. And so I think that most men need to like have their lives set up prior to making that kind of move.
I want to highlight this comment I seen. Um, says, Mastro Stevens says, Lapeef J.I. Network, why you always go to the extreme with the example of entrepreneurship? Most people aren't successful yet with that when they're in these situations, but they're still on their mission. You guys think I was extreme with that example?
I can agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you explain to me how it was extreme?
I mean, I understand what they're saying. You were saying that if a guy has multiple this and opportunities, this and that, it doesn't always have to be that extreme. It could just be simply, I'm interested in this woman and I want to go move here to relocate here to see what it could be. If it fails, then okay. If it works, then okay. But it doesn't. The way you said it, I remember you were saying like, yeah, like kind of like millionaire lifestyle, kind of like I don't know. I've never heard you say more. I've never heard you say like continuance entrepreneurship, but I understand what this guy is saying on this particular live. That was like a high level, cold red or cold blue type of lifestyle that you express. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the finished product and not the beginning or middle stages of the struggle of making it as an entrepreneur or as a business person, right? I think that we have the middle upper tier conversations about people who have already established it, figured it out, and have something really going. But I think we sometimes don't have enough conversations about the front end where people are just literally starting off. They just got out of college. They just got their first
Right.
job.
That's
You know
kind of
what
what the
I'm saying,
guy
right?
just said.
So
Mhm.
um, I can understand that. I'm not a millionaire. I'll put it out there. I'm not a millionaire. Not close to it. But you just have to be in a position where it makes sense. So let's say you able to still make $80,000 to $100,000 on the move, depending on the city, right? And somebody brought up Florida. Why'd I use Florida? Uh, it's just an example. You just got to be on your shit. You just can't go there thinking you're going to depend on her because it's just not going to be good for you. So whether you're making 50, 60, 70, whatever, I'm not here to count your pockets and figure out what it is that you need. Maybe you don't have no kids and maybe you make 50,000. Maybe that's enough for your living, like your lifestyle that you live. And you go there. Just don't go there thinking you're going to depend on her. Have your own. Don't go moving in with her. I don't ever advise a man to move in. I think a man should always have a home to be able to provide. You know, he has to have a home. He has to be able to take care of his home. Then he can take care of everything else that comes behind it. But he at least has to have those things. If he don't have those things, then he shouldn't be dating. He shouldn't be looking to build a family. So just make sure that you financially secure, whatever that number may be. You don't have to be a necessary entrepreneur, but maybe your work is travel. So maybe even if you did relocate there, maybe you're a flight attendant. Maybe you can relocate there and then you can still fly out and do whatever you need to do. But I just think just take what you need from the conversation. I don't know why people take it so personal. You know, everything I say is not going to apply for everybody, but just look a little deeper and see what the meaning is. Just be financially on your shit, on your business, and then don't depend on her. If you go there, don't go there solely for her. But if you do go solely there for her, then it's on you. Do what you do, and then come back and let me know how that work out for you.
I get kind of a little annoyed when people say like those types of things are unrealistic. Like, it's realistic. You know, when you work hard towards anything, you can achieve your goals. So yeah, you can have multiple properties and move to another city or country and plant seeds there. It's realistic. Every time Black people come together and start talking like this, it's all of a sudden unrealistic. I really don't like that at all.
I
It just
don't
gets
think
me annoyed.
I'm sorry, Shana. I don't think that I don't think that we're talking about it being not realistic. I think we're talking about how people go about setting up their life. I'll give you an example. Where I live, I like I live well, you know what I'm saying? And I make a good income, right? From multiple streams of income, right? And I'm working on another. If I was to uproot my life and relocate to another city where another woman is, where I see, well, I think I can grow and expand in this city. She has, a nice community and network of people that I could also tap in. I've also flown out there and gotten to know people, you know what I'm saying? But before I relocate, I need to think logistically how I'm going to do this. Am I going to sell everything here or move into an already furnished apartment? You know what I'm saying? Does it make sense to sell everything or bring everything with me? You know what I'm saying? Did I already land a position or a job somewhere? You know what I'm saying? And what is the transition time? So there's a lot of logistics and moving parts that are taking place that sometimes people are not really thinking ahead of time, right? Because they're like, well, let me just move in with you and like in a month I'll figure it out. And that's not really the way to go about it. If you're going to be in the leadership position and you're going to be leading at the helm, you need to be able to think about it strategically from a financial standpoint, from a logistic standpoint, from a time standpoint. And these things are all very important. Even with people who don't have anything set up for themselves quite yet, they need to weigh the pros and cons of like, what are the pros of me relocating? Okay, I don't have a lot with me, so I don't have to take a lot. And my salary is X, and I think I can live off of Y. You know what I'm saying? And sort of you start to kind of look at the pros and cons of like, is this the right move right now? Is the timing off? Do I need to save a little more money? You know what I'm saying? I think I might not need a car in this city. Everything's relatively local, so I'd be able to sell my car, right? And maybe get some money, or do I take my car with me? Like a lot of these things have to really be thought out before you make that move. And it's not that people can't do it or it's not possible. I think that a lot of people haven't set up what I said again, plant the seeds in order to get the type of results that they want. And that level of thinking is that next level that I sometimes think that most people kind of oversee.
Okay.
I don't think I agree with you, Luis. I'm not saying the logistics part is where I had a problem with. I think yes, you're supposed to think of these things. I think my qualm with the comment was when JR uses an example that he used, the person who commented is saying that that's so outlandish or unrealistic. Like people don't live lives like that. I think that's more where I have a problem with it. But yes, you have to think, legit.
I would say that, yeah, he did respond, and it's no beef or nothing like that. I think it's good because to me, I think he's speaking from people that he's really asking the question, like, what if you're not there yet and you're considering to relocate? So when I first read it, that's how I took it. But I appreciate the elaboration I meant in general as well. I was referring to being in a race and not the finish line. So I think I think we just got to ask direct questions. And sometimes that's why I don't advise people have serious discussions through text, because you can read it and take it one way, or maybe the person didn't elaborate on it. They just said something and thought you would take it this way. So great conversation, great dialogue, and hopefully we addressed it and answer it. Just never move in with a woman. I can't stress that enough. Never move in with a woman.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And JR spoke like that because that's his experience. Sometimes, I mean, that's just our experience, what we lived and we done. So we're going to speak on what we experienced, what we were doing. So, you just kind of read between the lines, right? That's what you got to do. You got to kind of read between the lines and try to relate it to your situation and where you at in life.
Yeah.
Another thing is, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jam.
No, I was going to say, and I don't really talk too much about, but I used to be part of a union, and I used to sit with these guys all the time, and I would tell people like what I'm gonna do and when I was gonna do it, and they kind of look at you and be like, yeah, right, all right, because to them that's life. Like you have to have some people that are some go-getters that's gonna set the bar higher, whether it be within your family, community, online, or people you may encounter. Like somebody has to. If we all was the same, this world would be boring. So you have to have people that's go-getters. And so, one of my guys I seen, he left. He left, and everybody was like, "Damn, what is he gonna do?" And like that. Once you take that cape off, that parachute, and you just fly, man. It's a whole different thing. You won't look back. If you lost your job, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go find you another job. I think people put so much value, and so they in this box and they tied to it, and you don't grow. You don't see anything. The people that's there, they don't know what it's like being on the other side because they haven't taken the risk. I'm not advising. I think people should continue to work a 9 to 5 until they build themselves up. Do both. I put in a lot of work. There was a lot of sleepless nights. I had sleeping 2-3 hours. I used to work third shift, and I used to take my computer and just build. While everybody else was sleeping on downtime, I was up. I was working. I made a bunch of mistakes. I failed. So when I speak my story, maybe I don't tell enough of my story or my background, but I failed a lot. But I just kept going, kept pushing because we only got one life. And I just refuse to have somebody else to control how I move when I move. I don't like the obligation about it. I'm still learning. There's a lot of things I'm learning, but I set goals to myself. I have a long-term goal and I have short-term goals. And I see myself being this. And if I tell myself I'm never going to go back to doing this, I'm never going to go back doing it. There's nothing but opportunity. And kudos to you if the next person, hopefully I can be an example and I can encourage, because I encourage a lot of people. You know how many people thank me for encouraging them to think outside of the box? We need people like that. We need people to tell more of their stories about how they transition from here to here. And I encourage everybody. I say, you don't have to do this for the rest of your life. You don't have to be here. You can set your own 401k. You can have your own retirement. So that's just me. But my fault. Go ahead, Hank.
No, man. I mean, I could agree with you. I could definitely agree with you. Look, I let my lady know, you know, you're not gonna get that ring until you move here. That was my standards, and I wasn't moving off, and she knew that. But she also knew that I was going to bless her. I wasn't bullshitting. I wasn't playing games. I was going to bless her. But in order to get that blessing, you got to be here. I'm not with this long distance engagement. I'm not with that. I need you in here in my state. I need to touch, feel you, see, and smell you. I'm going to bless you. Get her.
All right, let me bring up Kenya. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
We talked about long-winded, JR.
Well, I'm a master moderator.
Yeah. I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Get over to him Thursday. I say you gotta shut the mic, man. You gotta shut the mic.
No problem. No problem. JR, you're Igbo or Yoruba? What tribe are you?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I don't think I can tell you about my father. My father's Nigerian, just so you guys know. But he was only in my life to the age of 4, and then my grandfather was the most impactful when it came to being a father example. My father came home. He was a cab driver. He worked for CTA. He was always working. He always had money. Back then, when I was younger, he wanted always used to tell my mother he wanted to take me shopping at Carson's because he had the clothes. So I know he had money. I asked him about a poor part of Nigeria, and he laughed and told me it was kind of like an insult. Like, no, I'm not from part. I forget what he said. I don't have too much in my background. I have connected with a few Nigerians to go back and maybe see and trace to see. So it's kind of really hard to trace my background.
Okay, the reason why I asked you is because especially the Eastern Nigerians have that go-get-it attitude. You see what I'm saying? You fail many times and you keep standing. You fail many times, you keep standing. It's in the blood. It comes with the region. But to also comment to what we have going on the ground is this. A man to leave his dwelling, his place, and move into a woman's place, or relocate to a city that a woman stays, purposely to stay, that's to continue a relationship with her, is a very, very bad idea. It's out of order. Number one. Number two, men are very logical. Men are very logical. Women are very emotional. A woman is going to put it in your face that I brought you here. A woman will always remind you that she was the one that made you who you are. A woman is going to say things that will piss you off, destroy you, emasculate you. That is why throughout history, it's always been advised that men don't move in or relocate solely to be with a woman. But if you're dealing with a woman and you happen to maybe get a job opportunity where she stays, that's a different case. But it cannot involve relationship or solely because of her. It's not going to end well. It's never going to end well, because I got to use myself as an example. My wife, right? When she graduated from our national university in San Diego, she talked to me many times to move to San Diego to be with them. I'm like, hell to the no. It's never gonna happen. I don't care if I make $1 an hour. or $10 an hour or $50 an hour, I am never going to relocate for a woman. And she left San Diego and relocated to Dallas. You see, she relocated to Dallas to be with me. But she knew if she's going to be in this marriage, she better come to Dallas. I'm not going to San Diego. That's just me. And I'm an Igbo guy. I can't give that up. That's just who I am.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you, man. It says, I mean, it's like Jay say, it's just situational, man. It just all depends on everybody's situation. All I can do is advise you if you're considering it, whether you are wealthy or not, just don't move in with a woman. And just and make sure you do it more so on your terms than anything, you know, and just understand if you move in there knowing that even if it doesn't work out, I'ma still be cool, and this is why I don't mind being. All right. Any final thoughts, anybody? You know, I don't want to bore y'all to death. I know my stories is not exciting as everybody else on the panel. So
it's really inspirational to hear, you know, some of your background, and for the people who are, you know, trying to come up, and whether it's entrepreneurship or what have you, it's actually very inspirational. You should share more sometimes. It's really good to hear.
Man, you know, my father was a mystery, man. He was, you know, I don't know. I mean, I have shared things, you know, throughout just, but I was still kind of in it, you know. I was still attached to, you know, to the place, though.
You should go. You know why you should go? I gotta be honest with you. If you don't go back to Nigeria, you're losing a lot.
Nah,
you don't have to move back. But guess what? Are you the first son? Are you the first son?
I believe so. He said I got some brothers and sisters. I think he's deceased. I mean, normally I would talk to him, and I haven't talked to him over. You know, he would call, but I haven't talked to him in years.
Did you?
And I was just like I was just talking to Trigger Mike yesterday because like we linked up with the kids, and we was at a festival. But I talked to him. It's pretty expensive to go over there. You got to get all these shots. And
No,
stuff.
it's not expensive. No, you don't have to get any shot.
Play like 15 hours or something.
It depends on where you fly into. If you fly Delta, it's 11 hours. If you fly Delta straight to Lagos, it's 11 hours from Atlanta. But it's about $1,200 for a round trip. It's $1,200.
I'm about to do it like Ancestry.com. I'm about to get some type of insight. I just make that blank trip, man. I'm about to fly no 15 hours, and I'm down there.
You need to fly first class too, because that's.
Are you my daddy? Are you my daddy? Are you my...
Yeah, but the thing is this: the reason why I say you should go, if you're the first son, right, you already have a house there already. If you're the first son, your dad built a house, right? Did he build a house?
Man, I don't know nothing, man. I don't know anything. I'm going down there lost. I'm going down there on a blank with faith, as Sugar Curl say. I'm going down there on faith.
But if your dad have a house, right? If your dad built a house, that house that your dad built is your house. If you are the first son.
But I would not know where to start. That's what I'm saying. I would not know where to go. I would have to go down there with somebody, and they know where they're going, and making sure.
Okay.
So that's
okay. If you can,
I will go down there.
If you can get the, if you can.
I don't know anybody on that side. All I knew is that when he called me, I couldn't understand nothing he was saying. So I told him that, like, what? I penned for him. I was like, what is he saying? I couldn't understand him.
So, Anichi, are you volunteering to be his tour guide? Is that what you're doing?
You said what?
Are you volunteering to be his tour guide?
I can be your tour guide. I'll take you to your place right away. I go to Nigeria 3-4 times a year. I go 3-4 times a year. I have businesses there, so I go 3-4 times a year. So if you're ready to go,
don't make the suggestion if you're not really put that hand out.
I can have it done for him. I can find out where his people are. All you need to give me is your dad first and last name. And if you know anything there, I can find somebody. I can get people that will go find your place for you.
All right, I'm gonna hand you his name.
Yeah, just give me his first and last name. Yeah. Then I'll
Yeah.
Huh?
Can you vlog this? I want to see how this turns out. Please vlog this.
I can make it happen, man. I have connections a lot in Nigeria. All I have to know is what your tribe. If you know the name of your hometown, it takes 3 days. I'll find it.
I believe in you, brother. I believe you're gonna do this for that man. I believe.
Yeah, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. And then another thing is this: because you're the first son, right? So whichever house the house in the village, right, automatically belongs to you. And then you get to choose, like if you that have lands in Nigeria, right? You get to choose land before anybody else because that's being the first son. So you have so much power.
I want to ask you this. Why is it when he called me, he would always do *67?
*67?
Yeah, he always called like anonymous. You remember the old call ID? He would always call private for some reason.
But you can only do *67 if he's in the United States. He can't do
He was in the U.S. That's what I'm saying. Like, why was he always so private?
Why would he do that?
I'm asking you. I have no clue. I was just born.
Man, hey, Gerald,
he didn't want your mom to call back on that number. Were you still a little kid when those things were happening?
It was throughout. He would always call private. He would always call private, and he would always want to know what I'm doing, how I'm doing in life. He want to know
because he's interested in you.
At the college, so he want to know how's college going. Are you going to graduate? He always want to know. And I'm just like, because I used to hate him, right? I hate such a strong word as I used to hate him, and then I started embracing. And I said, I want to know more about my culture. I want to go to Nigeria. I want to find out more. It's because all the bitterness was gone. Okay, you my dad. What's going on? All of my mama say you look more and more like me, act just like your father. He would always say, you love the women, just like your father. She would always tell me, but she would always tell me, but I just knew he was a hard worker. He came here on the mission, always had money. He would always be private all the time, so I could know. I got some brothers and sisters that's in the U.S. And his family was back in Nigeria.
Let me ask you a quick question, JR. Do you remember your last name?
Do I remember his last name?
Yeah, your dad's last name. That's your last name. Yeah, that's what I mean by your okay, so what you gotta so your siblings, are they still here?
Yeah, but that might have been an American name. So I'm not really sure how that works. I'm not really sure if he brings his name over, but that's his American name. How does that work?
No. You're always gonna bring your name over.
Okay.
Except maybe he came from Europe or something, If he came from Nigeria direct to here, he's gonna use his last name. But the reason why I want to do that is because if I have his first and last name now, I can easily find out in the US about your siblings if they're in the US. The next step is to find out who your siblings are. Then I can find out our hometown by just talking with them or talking with people that know them, because I'm always going to know people that know people here in the US. I can get that done. So when I find out people that know them, right, then I can be able to trace your hometown.
Okay, well, I'm about to find out something because I'm getting tired of people saying that I'm sending them messages on IG, and I think I got a twin out here. Somebody look like me with a beard. They out here saying I ain't done nothing. I just been in my bubble, just sitting here chilling. So obviously, I must got a brother out there that look just like me out here doing some shit because it ain't me.
Not a JR impersonator.
I got a JR impersonator, man.
Hey, that's when you made it big time, ain't it, JR?
That's right.
Nah, man, it's ain't no telling, man.
Well, look, hey, JR, you got the Black Columbo here. He's willing on doing the investigative work. He gonna help you out. He gonna research
right there.
Let's have the back chat there, and I'll reach out to you, and we can see what we can do.
That's right. We gonna
maybe there's still hope. Maybe I got some. Maybe I got
finding your place in. I gotta be honest with you, right? The only thing you might say, it might take a few months, right? But it's gotta be found. When you want to find your place, your ancestral home in Nigeria or your dad's house in Nigeria, that is not a problem. if you want to find if somebody's missing in Nigeria, right, and you want to find that person, they can find it. If they don't find him, that means they don't want to find him. But they will find anything. Like if I put it out there, oh shit, I gotta tell you, the only thing is that maybe I have very few information to find it. But if I have the vital information like first and last name and hometown, that comes out in 3 days.
I mean, but I don't know what it is in hometown, because every time somebody asks somebody, they say, "Are you this? Are you that?" So if you got the name, then it's just a matter of just checking both of them, then, right?
No, the thing is this, right? The first and last name is easy because your dad came to the US, right? So the first thing somebody's going to ask me, okay, this is his first and last name? I say yes. He went to the US? Yes. Which year? So that period that he left for US narrows everything down. You see what I'm saying? So it's easy to find somebody.
I need
because once you
I need you to help me get my riches, man.
Hey,
if I got a house here, I need to get my house.
Like I said, if your dad built a house in Nigeria in the village, right, that's automatically yours as long as you're the first son. You don't have to, but maybe whoever is the first son now might say certain things, but at the end of the day, your birth certificate, as long as your age is above the age, is automatically yours. That's our culture. Is embedded in the constitution, in the culture, everything. But I can send you a private message about my phone number, so you can send me those information.
Okay. Oh, you want to? Okay, yeah, you want to put it back there. They don't tell who on this panel. It might be agents.
I know, man.
Yeah,
let's make it happen, DJ.
I don't think this one has a private chat. I'm looking for the private chat. I can't find it.
Private chat. It's on. You on the phone? Sometimes it look weird.
I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen, brother. Let's make it happen, man.
Yeah, man.
We'll make it happen.
Like, y'all might see me out here. I don't know. I might have a robe on. I might have my, what you call it, Jay? Like was it paraphernalia?
This one right here.
Yeah, I might have. Yeah, I might be. Shit, I might have that suit, that African suit on.
Guess what? I have a clothing line. My clothing line is the African suit. You see this right here? That's my clothing line.
Oh man, you gotta run me one of them suits, man. I'm going to Nigeria. I gotta be right.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, and I have a website. I have a website for that. Like my website, people can buy it.
Yeah, man. So you got some sandals too?
Oh man, I have a shoe company that I'm building in Nigeria. So we're going to be making shoes and sandals and belts.
I need open toe sandals.
I can get that. I can get that for you from Nigeria.
Brown.
I can get that.
Hey, Jay,
paper brown, not paper bag brown. I need brown.
Brown, the original leather brown, right?
Your pops and all the riches that he has to offer. He gonna clothe you. He gonna put some shoes on your feet, and he got to hook up with some good Nigerian food.
Shit, I might be a prince down there. Shit.
Hey, coming to America.
No, prince is not easy. It's not easy to be a prince. No, you can. Prince is a high fetch, bro.
Don't try to down
it's a high level.
Maybe
but you never know. You never know, though.
No, that shit. I might.
You never know.
Well, I would say this, JR. You should do going back to Nigeria, Lapeef edition.
I am gonna do a vlog, man. I might spend some time with them. I need to get over there. I'm gonna you're gonna suit me up. I'm gonna get my sandals open toe. I'm gonna wear those on the plane.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
You know this guy. What's his name? Oshedu Jackson. He goes to Nigeria very often.
Man, I'm about to give me an interview with O'Shea too while I'm over there too.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Okay.
Hey, you kill a lot of birds. I like it.
I see it. Y'all painted this well, man. I might pull out the painting board and just paint it.
You just gotta get your yellow fever shot, JR. That's all.
No, you don't need it. You don't need it.
Now Trigger Mike said I need it. Trigger Mike told us a story yesterday where he was 14. When he was 14, his brother was 14 and he was 19. And right before they was about to raid it, because he said his family take them into the village. And he said that's where everything is, in the village. And so he said that when they was coming back on the plane, he kept throwing up. He kept throwing up. I'm talking about throwing to the point where he couldn't. So when they landed, they isolated him for a month. You know, they had to isolate him for a month. He couldn't come back to the he couldn't come back into the world until they figured out what was going on with him. Imagine being 14 years old, being isolated for a month. Because
So
they didn't want to let you out because they didn't know what you brought back. Like, what does he got?
yeah, you know what he brought back?
They wouldn't let him see him because they say he's in confinement.
He brought back malaria. Is malaria the mosquito thing? So it wasn't yellow fever, it was the malaria, man. So what happened is that you got to take the mosquito thing, you know, the mosquito stuff that you rub on your body, right? That's what you need, because when you get to the village, you get eaten up by the mosquitoes.
Yeah, like he said, he had some type of like wingworm type of thing or something.
Yeah, all those rashes.
No, man. He told me a story yesterday. I was discouraged, man, but you gave me hope today. So, you know, I got a house and a lake and all that good stuff, and sign me up, man. Reach out to me ASAP. I need to find my village.
Hey, JR, you know something? Hey, maybe Tej Hanley, they can get some type of mosquito repellent that you can put on.
Yeah, that's what you need. Mosquito repellents, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you know that. So they might have something, man, especially for Africans, man. So I'm looking. If not, then we could build it together. You heard it first.
Yeah, because
we're gonna build a repellent for Americans to go and visit Nigeria. Like where it is now. This is all coming together. This was a much needed conversation. I could tell Sugar Curls is loving it. I can tell by the expression on her face, like this is beautiful. Louise and Chanel were talking about vlogging. Hink with the plug and are y'all coming with me?
Heck yeah, I'm coming. You think I'm passing up Nigeria? I'm coming.
Oh, you guys can come. You guys can stay in our place in Abuja.
Lapeef take over Nigeria. We can just plan. We can get a bus. Right. We get the flight and everything. Everybody get the shots and stuff. When we gonna go on the hunt, try to find Daddy. Try to find Daddy.
I can see the title now, Finding JR.
Yeah. That's right. So Jay, you might got to hold down the Thursday show. I'll be on this hunt, man. So
the Thursday show?
Yeah, like you, Louise. Oh no, y'all coming with me. We got to find somebody else. If y'all see Fatty, let me know. Let me see. I'll let Fatty. I think Fatty will do it.
Fatty.
Yeah, Fatty will do it.
Yeah, we get Fatty in there. Nigeria, we need somebody to slide on there. Next man up.
Jay, give me about a year. I gotta go out here and shake the bushes a little bit, raise my coins up a little bit, take it on the corner, so I can go with you.
Oh, we get sponsors, man. We get sponsors.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
You know what? A GoFundMe page.
Yeah,
that's what we can do to raise money. I'm taking everybody with me.
Hey, I tell you this. Next Sunday, I'm gonna offer up some fish and chicken dinners. I'm selling them in order to buy some tickets to Nigeria.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, I'm feeling good after this, man. I'm then I want to go celebrate, man. I'm about to go pour me a whole glass of water, man. This is awesome, man.
Ekene, can you send your link for your clothing, please? I'd like to take a look at it.
Yeah. So the men clothing line is up right now, but the women clothing line is going to come up shortly.
Oh, I want the men's clothing line. I gotta hook up my husband, okay? Because we're going to Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing.
Oh, okay. I just sent it right now.
In the back chat. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just sent it right now.
And also put it in the chat too. So like that other people.
Can you copy it from the back chat and then paste it?
I got you right now. I put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna be everybody that come from Lapeef, I'm gonna do 35. Is okay, guess what? It's gonna be expensive, okay? It's expensive because of the materials. Their materials are like, if you know Zana, Giorgio Armani, Tom Ford, those materials that they use for this is the same thing. So it's like about 1,000 and up, but I'm gonna give anybody from Lapeef 25 to 30% off.
So you talk to me. I need to talk to you, man, about some fabrics too, man. I need to talk to you about it, man. Like,
no problem.
I'm into fabrics too, man. I used to do a little cutting. So
you do? You do make fabrics?
I know I don't make fabrics. That's why I was into fabrics. I have.
Okay.
I wore some of my shirts on there where I went and picked out the fabrics and
Oh.
you know, I had somebody, you know, do the cut that I wanted for me. And it was
Okay.
yeah.
Well, hold
Yeah.
on, JR.
Who gonna do that?
Emiche, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Was you in the city of Chicago back in 1970?
I wasn't even born then.
I was just wondering because you sound like you could be JR's daddy.
Oh man, what kind
I'm gonna have to question that.
I wasn't even born then, man. I wasn't even born at that
Not
time.
him being the secret agent and then trying to figure out his own. His own.
Hey, so much comment. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm reading between the lines, Lou.
I know.
Hank, Tina in the chat gave a good name for your food brand. You're gonna call it Fry Fish in the Basement.
Oh man. Oh man. Let me go ahead and get to these last super chats so we get up out of here, man. Marcus Evans says, "What up, everyone? Have a great Sunday and 4th." I almost forgot it was the 4th of July. It's kind of odd because it's in the middle of the week. Ray's Anderson, 499 says, "Chanel, Jamaicans call those men that do everything the women say a gal clown." Did I say that correctly?
Gal clown. In Trinidad, we call him Pansy Man.
Comment I highlighted. I did.
Pansy Man. Oh, damn.
Big in $11, says, "Hank, are you okay? A couple of weeks ago, he was crying listening to Sade, and now he got a sweat on in the middle of the summer. Someone check on him." Yeah.
Hey, man, y'all use about that. Don't do that.
You got good AC over there, man. We got good AC. You can put hoodies on in the crib.
Hey, it's what you said.
Okay, this is one of my.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Okay.
Hold on.
He might be looking shit sharp, ain't he?
Yeah. Shit, I'm ready to step out.
I'm gonna need the link for that. My husband would love that.
Hey, JR, he gonna have your casket ready, baby.
Casket ready, man. Shit. Shit. Thursday, I might be right. I'm about to go holler at him. Man. Like I might have to do the like the cologne of the day. Go Thursday, I might do the cologne of the day. Yeah. All right, man. It's getting stale now, man. I'm losing everybody. I don't know what type of face expressions I'm getting, but all it takes is one. And when you see one person give that face expression you can't read, that means it must be time to go. So go ahead and take us out with the hymn.
Hey, man, look, check out stuff.
Yeah. I went to church today, man. They was talking about singlehood. I went to Tony Evans. Talking about singlehood. I know it was random. I threw that out there. I thought y'all was gonna gravitate to it. See, I'm trying, man. I'm trying to hold on.
I'm
gonna go ahead and put the song on, man. Y'all.
Well, have a great rest of your evening.
All right, y'all, we out, man. Hit that like button. Also, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. The panel didn't want me to. They wanted me to end. Saying the eyebrows raising up. All right, sweet girls. I guess it's gonna be me, myself, and I. Like just me and you, Hank, and Luis tapped out too, man. We lost to everybody, man. It just feels so good, man.
Hey, man, you know how we do, man. We sometimes you got to give the after show right after the show.
That's what I said, man. I might as well go into my monologue, man. Hit that like button. Also, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. Shout out to my Green Gang again. What are you saying, Hank?
No, I was going to allow you the opportunity space to elaborate on that singlehood. I'm sure there's some ladies out there that probably really need to hear this message.
And he was I took a few notes, man. The one thing he said about contentment was he talked about contentment. There's a lot of notes, man. I ain't gonna go through all this, man. It's a lot though. it's kind of interesting because he talked about womanhood the week before, and he talked about manhood, and so he's gonna talk about marriage next week. So it's interesting hearing that it's broken down, different perspective. So drop the link. Oh, he just said that's the old message. I ain't got nothing else, man. My son want to get in the pool, so
This is the after the show after the show.
yeah, I used to do it. I'm gonna start doing it on Thursday. I'm gonna do an after show on the Thursdays. I'm gonna start doing it. I'm gonna go back to the original roots.
Hey, do you find that there's a lot of late hour crews? You know, like sometimes like people do get on like towards the later half of the show, you know, and then they stick around to even like after the show is done, and they just kind of chop it up, you know.
It used to be that way, man. I think a lot of people are YouTubers now, so usually a lot of people trying to do their own thing. So you don't really have. Before it used to be kind of far out there now, and there used to be more of a community, but with everybody seem to be on an individual base now, it's different. So,
Have you considered like, you know, maybe streaming on other platforms as well, like Twitch?
I don't know nothing about that, man. That sounds foreign to me. Twitch.
Yeah.
I've heard of Twitch. I've heard of Rumble. Before we started off, we used to go live stream in the Facebook group. That's where it all started in the Facebook group. Or started audio, then Facebook group, then YouTube. So it's kind of, I don't mind doing it, man. I got a lot of different things that I plan on doing. I got some in-person stuff that I plan on doing on a more smaller scale. But I think it'd be dope, and it'd be dope to record as well. So I'm looking to do Chicago with DC as a first experiment, but I'm gonna do these little pop-ups and different things I got planned.
Are you trying to do like a live in different cities?
We'll talk. I'll be in the stream. We'll talk. Hit the like button, found out, so make sure you subscribe to the channel.